football, the Republic of Football, on 97.3, and also live on Channel 1 TV. We're also live on the YouTube City Sports Ghana, and also on X at City FM. I'm Gabby Ofel. Welcome again to the show. It's March 7, 2026. Yeah, yesterday was a busy day for Ghana, the people of Ghana. A lot of people actually clad in Ghana jerseys. It was really beautiful if you were in town. And also gives me one sense that in June, July, the Black Stars of Ghana will be heading to the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico for that World Cup. I'm just hoping that we'll carry that positive vibe and spirit to back the team, do well in the World Cup, possibly win the World Cup. And the coach Otuado, just imagine the Black Stars of Ghana at the airport with a trophy. My goodness. Well, just believe, because I'm believing. With the form of Antoine Semenyo and a few other players performing for their clubs, and just Otuado getting things right at the World Cup, the Black Stars might do well. Anyway, so today we'll be talking about the performances of some Ghanaian players for their clubs so far on the show. It's always an interactive show, so you can send in your thoughts. 0539 986 996 0539 986 996. And just like we always do on the weekend, at the tail end of the show, we'll activate the phone lines 0549 986 996. Then you can call or share your thoughts with us. I'm Gabby Ofel. Welcome again to the show. You can find me on X at Gabby Milito7. We'll be talking about Arsenal and also Arsenal's brothers in Spurs, who have their manager, interim boss in Hugo Tudor. The big question we're asking today on the part of Arsenal is simple. Should they sacrifice one trophy for the Premier League title? You know, Arsenal competing in all 4 trophies, top of the table in the EPL, also competing in the Champions League. They have a final to play against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup on March 22. And then in the FA Cup, they are currently beating Mansfield by 2-1. So that's the question we are asking today. The polls will be up on YouTube, so you can head there, vote, and also leave your thoughts with us, and I'll be glad to read it out for you. Then we'll head to the camp of Spurs. Hugo Tudor, who is the interim boss, is already talking, looking at a big job he has to do that saves Spurs from getting relegated, competing in the championship next season. Imagine Spurs with their beautiful edifice, the stadium, and having championship football there. That's a big loss to Spurs as a club, and the quality of players they've got, and the manager they are looking to bring in next season. So we'll be talking about them. And then, just like I said, we just do a quick scan of some Ghanaian players across Europe. Top of the list, your guess is as good as mine. It's Manchester City's Antoine Semenyo. He's on red hot form. We're hoping that he can carry that form onto the national team. The guys are here to help me get into the conversation. I'll introduce them a bit later. But this weekend, we have no Premier League games. The games will be back next weekend. So this weekend, the FA Cup will take center stage in England. But when you head to Italy, there are some good games you can look forward to. The likes of Como are in action. Como taking on Cagliari. Atlanta will be taking on Udinese. And Juventus up against Pisa. Italian Serie A. When you head to the French Ligue 1, Nantes up against Angers, AJ Auxerre will take on Strasbourg, and then Toulouse will take on Olympique Marseille at 8:05 p.m. In the FA Cup, just like I said, Arsenal are taking on Mansfield. There's Arsenal 2, Mansfield 1. Wrexham will play Chelsea at 5:45 p.m. And then Newcastle United up against Manchester City at 8 p.m. So those are the games for today. Not a lot of games to look forward to. If you're a big fan of the championship, there are some games also in action. Blackburn up against Portsmouth as we speak. Hull City are losing to Millwall by 3-1. Later at 3 p.m. there's Bristol City up against Coventry. Coventry are being managed by Frank Lampard. There's a Ghanaian player in there, Brandon Thomas Asante, who plays for Coventry City. Charlton Athletic up against Birmingham. Derby County will take on Sheffield Wednesday. And then Ipswich up against Leicester City. For Leicester, there are two Ghanaian players in there. There's Jordan Ayew and Fatau Isaku. Sheffield United will take on West Bromwich Albion at 3 p.m. And then Swansea up against Stoke City. So, if you've been following the championship keenly, those are the games happening today. So just like I said, 3 questions on the table today. First one, should Arsenal sacrifice one of the trophies for the EPL title? And then can Igor Tudor save Spurs? Their latest loss came against Crystal Palace on Thursday. So that game involving Mansfield and Arsenal is all over. Arsenal progressing to the next stage of the FA Cup, beating Mansfield by 2-1. Yeah, Jamie Inta is not a big fan of the pitch. We'll be looking at that, but yeah, let the pitch be so weird. All right, let me welcome my guys. We've got Yahweh Jamie Inta in studio with me, and also Patrick Bunny also here with me today to do the discussions. You can also join the conversation 053996 996 053996 996. Later at the tail end of the show, we'll activate the phone line 0549 96 996. So feel free to join the conversation, and we'll be glad to read them. Good afternoon, y'all. Good afternoon, Patrick. We good?
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm good.
Yeah, Charlie, you guys are rocking the Black Stars jerseys. Yesterday I was in town. Everywhere you go past, be yellow.
Yeah. Mine is a bit old school. I mean, this is the 2022.
This was 2022.
Yeah,
ahead
the
of
World Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah, the World Cup. Yeah.
Charlie, but it's still looking fresh though. It feels like a new jersey launched into this.
Oh yeah.
Because
I don't wear it that much. I mean,
so this is
the Black Stars are winning too many games, so yeah. I don't wear it that much.
So what Patrick is also wearing is
I think it's the new one.
No, I'm not sure.
20.
You know, the thing with about the Black Stars jersey is you actually have other people also bringing in their design to mix with the original design. So sometimes, because
it gets funny a bit.
Yesterday I saw different types, the designs, black,
yellow,
the retro jerseys.
Yeah. The retro jerseys are cool, very cool.
Charlie, it was good. Patrick, are you okay?
Oh, I'm good.
How was your week?
Oh, well, it was nice, work.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mean, we love football. We love sports in general. So when there's a weekend like this, you just have to pass through. And then, I mean, there are so many people who love the game. So
yeah,
you just have to add your voice to it so that they'll keep on loving it.
Guys, just quick thoughts on Arsenal. They are through to the next one of the FA Cup. I think everybody expected that to happen. Mansfield were, I don't want to say they nearly caused an upset, but just what are your thoughts? And then we'll get into that big question you're asking, if Arsenal should sacrifice one of the trophies for the PL.
Oh well, it was a straightforward expected win for Arsenal, and Mansfield had a few good opportunities. They didn't have too clear-cut chances. They had good opportunities that they could have turned into very good chances. But that final pass, I noticed in the second half they had the breakaway opportunity. They outnumbered the Arsenal defenders, and instead of their captain slipping the ball to the right for his teammates who had made the overlap run, to just smash the ball into the net or deliver a cutback for a teammate to slot the ball into the net. the captain decided to go for goal, and in the end, his effort was very weak. It was a very weak and tame effort, and so that was a very good goal scoring opportunity that they let go or they missed. And so aside those few instances, I don't think Arsenal were threatened that much, and they handled business. Eberechi, they came off the bench and he smashed in a very good goal. And so I look at it and I think it was an expected win, and Arsenal handled their business without too many scares and without too much fuss. They didn't overly delight with or excite with their style of play. And at the end of the day, they got the job done. They've qualified to the next round, and so their chances of or their quest to win 4 trophies across all 4 competitions is still intact. So there's nothing much to
worry about. Okay, Patrick, I'll come to you, but before I do so, let me just run our viewers and listeners through those who started for Arsenal, and then we'll go through the 11 for Mansfield as well. For Arsenal in post, they were lining up in a 3-4-2-1 formation. So they had Kepa Aretha Balaha in post, the back 3 of Calafiori, Mosquera, and then Salmon. Mali Salmon, he's a new player, he's 16 years old. They had Martinelli starting, Kai Havertz, Christian Norgard, Noni Madueke, Leandro Trossard, and then Max Daumann, and also Gabi Jesus leading attack for the Gunners. On the part of Mansfield, it was a 3-5-2 formation. Robert, Noel, Oshilaja, Blake Tracy, Aikens, Russell, Reed, Abbott, McLaughlin, Robert, and Oates. The 2 for Mansfield. When you look at Arsenal's bench, Victor Gyökeres was there. There was Bukayo Saka, Eberechi Eze, Yurin Timber, Pierre Hincapie, all on the bench for Arsenal. Patrick, what I'm picking up from Arsenal's starting 11 is that Arteta shuffled the pack. He gave opportunities to French players who are not typically see starting in the Premier League. What do you think would be running through or went through Arteta's decision to give these players the minutes they had in the FA Cup?
Well, if you look at Arsenal, I mean, the depth in terms of the squad is there, and then this is why you sometimes have to find it very important working on your academy, because when the matches are many, and then you have to understand that the injury tool will always be there. So in games like this, it is good to introduce the young ones who are not consistent in the English Premier League. And then if you look at the number of games left for us now, they need to be very careful in terms of the players they parade in games. And then games like this, I mean, you need to give the young ones the opportunity to play. So for me, if you look at the squad they paraded for the game, it was a very decent one. And then the thing is, you need to get the win, and then that's what they did. They managed to win by 2-1. So Mikel Arteta is trying to let the players all understand that, look, we have 4 trophies we are competing in, and then we need to have players who are ready for each and every game. Okay. You get it. So
as and when it comes.
But when it comes to the Champions League and then the English Premier League, definitely it's going to be the experienced ones. You need cohesion, and then the kind of attitude you need for the Champions League or the English Premier League is different from some of these cup games. And then so you can see that he wants to give other players the opportunity to flourish in terms of understanding his philosophy.
Okay.
And then they did very well in terms of today's game. Much wasn't expected from them. They managed their game, and then they won by 2-1. Mikel Arteta, I think, is a fine manager. I mean, year on year, he's proving he's a very nice manager. But when it comes to the creme de la
when you
creme,
say nice, as in his physique or
no, I mean his way of putting his team together.
Oh, okay, so his body of work.
Yes.
You admire the body of work.
Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's not winning
when
trophies.
You say fine, I just want to understand you.
He's just not winning trophies. So I will not put him in the work in terms of the best when it comes to coaching.
Yeah.
You get it. So that is what he needs to work on. And I love the fact that he's a manager who understands football very well. he knows when to introduce, young footballers into the game, and that's what he's doing. So I think it's good.
Yeah, because today I'm looking at the starting 11. Mali Salmon, I think he's an academy player, and then Max Delman. So 2 players, I think, from the academy who started today, mixed with the experienced lads.
Yeah, you see, so it is important. It is good to give them this kind of games so that they will learn. You get it? And sometimes, if you've been on the field before, you understand that when you are playing with experienced players, they teach you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you kind of have your own style of football, your own trust in terms of what you can do. But when you are being played with experienced players, it gives you that encouragement. After when you go home and you get a video of the game and you are watching the way maybe you teed up another player to score, you kind of find that kind of excitement if you are a player. So it is good to see us now, putting smiles on the faces of their fans. There are many out here. So I'm just hoping that they keep up the momentum, because we are all looking at them in terms of the English Premier League, what they can do, and that is where the noise is going to come out from. So we are expecting them to put their ass together and then give us good football.
Yeah, talk to me about this. I think one thing that this current Arsenal team they've received a lot of praise for is the squad depth they've got. Are you impressed with the way Mikel Arteta has handled the quality he's got on the bench and the quality he puts on the pitch week in, week out?
Yeah, to a large extent, yes.
Okay.
To a large extent, yes. It would have to, if I have any reservations, yeah, I do have some reservations. It will have to be with the choices. But the way he's, as in handled the minutes, it's fine.
Yeah, because I asked this question because I've not seen a lot from Nogard.
Yeah.
Since he moved from Brentford.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll have to check the minutes he's played, but we've not seen him get more minutes in the PL.
And it's not surprising.
Okay.
The thing is, when he moved, he had a bit of an injury issue initially, and beyond that, it's not surprising to see him not feature in the EPL and in the Champions League games, because at the end of the day, he is not the starter. He wasn't penciled as the starter. It's Declan Rice and Zubimendi who are to man those midfield spots, with Eberechi Eze and Odegaard alternating in that other spot in midfield.
Yeah.
And so to see him not play regularly, I'm not surprised. But that has also come in part due to the injury issues that he had initially when he moved to Arsenal from Brentford.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there was also competition, like you said, the depth. There was massive competition because aside all these players that I've mentioned, Odegaard, Eze, Zubimendi, Declan Rice, there was also the bit about Mikel Merino, who could play all those positions.
Yeah.
And so it more or less buried Christian Nogard way down the chart, the depth chart. And so in that sense, you always struggle to find game time. But now he's picking up. I've seen him feature in a couple of games recently, and his minutes are a little bit more stable than they were, because some injuries have come in, and because now Odegaard got an injury in there somewhere. Today, for instance, Trossard also picked up an injury in there. So gaps are opening up for him to be able to play some minutes, especially when you just have about 11, 12 games to end the season in the Premier League. You have some games in other competitions to play. He will definitely get some playing time. But the only issue I have with Mikel Arteta, like I said, is the choices, the choice of personnel. So, for instance, in today's game, looking at the nature of the pitch, and looking at...
So he's lost 2 players. I'm thinking it's because of the pitch. He's lost Calafiori and
Trossard.
Yeah,
so,
2 injuries.
And the Calafiori bit is where I was driving at.
Okay.
So looking at the nature of the pitch and looking at Calafiori's injury history, even before he joined Arsenal, and as he's been with Arsenal, or since he's been with Arsenal, his injury record has not been the best. And you are going to field him on such a surface? I have an issue with that. what happened to Miles Lewis Kelly.
Okay.
Something of that sort.
Yeah,
so,
Lewis Kelly was suspended for this game. Yeah.
Okay, that would have been best. But at the end of the day, you have Hincapie.
Yeah.
So I would have expected him to start Hincapie
ahead of Calafiori.
In such a game. Then you keep Calafiori for the Champions League game that you have next week.
Okay.
So in that sense, that's where I have a bit of an issue with Mikel Arteta because of some of the choices that he makes. Because, like I said, the surface of the pitch, it wasn't the best.
Okay.
And if you have a situation where the guy has had major injury issues, why do you risk him? Why do you risk playing him on such a surface? He did that, and now he's picked up another injury.
But is that not Arteta looking at the game and saying that, okay, I want to put my best foot forward, and not allow Mansfield to drag me into some playoff or extra time stuff, and that's why you want to go with his best.
Calafiori, I get it, but at the end of the day, in the end, you still brought on Hincapie anyway.
Because he came on very early in the 38 minutes. I believe.
You still brought on Hincapie anyway because he came to replace Trossard.
Yeah.
You still brought him. You still brought him on anyway. So I was thinking, and on top of that, you would want to have Calafiori start in the Champions League ahead of Hincapie, ideally or ordinarily. So in that sense, if you are rotating or when you are rotating, you bring in you let the backup more or less start the game against Mansfield. Then you keep the regular starter for the Champions League. But yeah, he mixed it all up, and that's where I have an issue with Mikel Arteta when it comes to he managing the squad. He's done very well when it comes to the minutes allocation, but the personnel choices, that's where I have a bit of an issue.
Okay, let me take some comments on YouTube, and then I'll come to Kwache to get his thoughts on Mikel Arteta and what his boys are doing. They are through to the next stage of the FA Cup. You can also leave your thoughts with us 053996 996 053996 996. Text into the show. Let's know your thoughts on Arsenal. There's a poll up on YouTube for you. It's a simple question. Should the quadruple chase in Arsenal sacrifice at least one trophy to ensure Premier League or UCL success? And the people who call and say that we are doing agenda. Kwache, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. I don't know if you snap thoughts on Arsenal progressing to the next stage. You know, a lot of people actually forget that Arsenal played the Carabao Cup final against City on March 22.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Carabao Cup is the one that is least sacrificial, I guess, because they're already in the final.
You want them to sacrifice that one?
No, they're already in the final, so it's one more game. They have to play the game anyway. They'll be tired anyway, so they might as well try to win it. But
and some people also believe that that game is actually the battle of the minds and the parts of Arteta and Pep into the Premier League proper. Because Arsenal will travel to the Etihad again and play City in the PL, and that would also decide. So the outcome of that game in the Carabao Cup final will then fuel the two teams to finish up the rest of the games in the PL.
I get that argument, but I think for most people saying the argument, it's more from the perspective of Arsenal.
Okay.
I don't think Man City, even if they
conversation at all.
No, not necessarily, but I think even if Man City lose that final, I think they have enough experience to go again and start and try and go on and win the Premier League. I think the problem is if Arsenal go into that final and they lose to City, that's when the mental toll of going up against City and realizing what they're up against might come and haunt them. But in terms of the FA Cup, I mean, it's a good progression for them. I don't necessarily think they need to sacrifice one trophy.
Oh, they should go for the four?
Like I said, they're already in the final of the how do you call it? Unless they're going to sacrifice the Champions League, and then that's a different argument. If they think that they don't necessarily need to try and win the
last
Champions
season,
League.
they got to the semis or the Champions League.
Yeah.
Anything short of the semis again is in the Champions League is failure.
I mean, but the Champions League is much harder to win, and that's evident by the fact that they've never won it. So
Okay.
if you look at it like this is a season where we're about to win the Premier League, we're trying to win the Premier League for the first time in 21 years since the Invincible season. If they are thinking of sacrificing the competition, they probably look at the Champions League, and that's where obviously they like to win the Champions League to make the season more special. But that's also the one that's going to be the hardest to win, and that's also the one that's going to take the most toll on them going into the end of the season. Obviously, they want to win. They want to win all 4 trophies. I don't think Mikel Arteta is going to talk to his team and say, when you are playing against this team or when you are playing against this team, take it easy. And if you look at the side at which they fell in the Champions League draw, I think the only other team in the draw that they should be really worried about is maybe Barcelona. They're probably looking at a quarter-final against Bodo Glimt if they make it through their draw right now. And obviously, Bodo Glimt have done really well. But if you had to contrast that with maybe having to go up against maybe Real Madrid or Bayern or one of those teams, I think they'd be happy with where they are. So right now, it's just a matter of getting through it game by game. And in the FA Cup, obviously, against Manfield, I think they had a scare. Whenever these teams come against you and they manage to get a goal, they start getting belief, and these things can help gain momentum. But so it was good for them that Eze was able to come on and then kill the game immediately, kill their momentum, and then they just went on to see out the game. They need to also develop the habit of winning. I don't think when you're trying to get into the habit of winning, you can pick and choose which titles you want to win. I think you try to win all, and then you learn from the experience from the ones that you don't win.
Okay.
So I mean, they're on the cusp of, like you said, a great season. All it takes is a couple of results for things to go differently. They lose one big game in the Champions League tie, either home and away, and they can't get back in it. They lose the Carabao Cup final, and all of a sudden the season doesn't look as good as it looked at the start of the season. So I think right now at this point in the season, all they need to do is just focus and try and get through it game by game.
All right, now let me get to YouTube and take some comments, and let me start off from the top. Okay, so this one says, JKek says, sometimes you just need to grind results and not play intensively to get your players injured. Arsenal has a plan and it's working out for them. Okay, Sweet Kwame says, 69 years and Ghana can boast. Is it cannot? I think you want to say cannot boast of fantastic infrastructure like Singapore and Malaysia. Okay. Ibrahim Smile 107 says, hey, win what with this coach? Once I hope Benny Otoado sweats in Kwan over 4.5. Okay. Spurs are getting relegated from Sweet Kwame. LC Josiah says, okay, I don't get a message. It says, Kudus will join Jordan and Fatal Isaku in the championship with Spurs. Kudus needs to play in the championship. Okay. Let me try and skim through the messages. Okay, they're asking where Shining Brother 3 is. Okay, interesting comments on YouTube. You can also leave your thoughts. The poll is still up for you. Should quadruple chasing Arsenal sacrifice at least one trophy to ensure Premier League or the Champions League success? Patrick, let me take your thoughts on that question. So 4 trophies on the table for Arsenal to win. The first is very close in the next few days, March 22. And that's the Carabao Cup final. If you were in part of Mikel Arteta's entourage or part of that Arsenal dressing room, what are you doing with the 4 trophies on the table?
I think I will tackle them match after match. Yeah, because, I mean, in every club, the number of trophies you have in your trophy cabinet is what makes you a great team. And so when you're able to find yourself in, 4 competitions where you can make that history, why not? You go for it. If you look at Arsenal themselves, their ladies, they've done that before. So the team would love to, conquer Europe in terms of sweeping all the trophies. But you do need to look at the depth in terms of the players that you have. So as far as I'm concerned, if I'm part of that entourage, it will be a very great challenge for me, because you need to keep your players fit so that they will be able to do the job for you, and it wouldn't be easy. because I mean, if you look at the intensity within the English Premier League and then the kind of players you are going to meet in the Champions League, it is going to be very, very difficult when you are playing such games. So you just have to manage them. I mean, Arsenal, they've swept. They have all these trophies, but the Champions League is what it has eluded them. So I think if you are the manager, you'll be so much fixated on that. But then you have to take it match after match. You get it, and then if you are able to do that record, why not? You just be happy about it. Football is about trophies, as I said, and then if you're a manager and you're able to put together your team and then for them to give you nice football, to give you the results that you want, why not? You have to go for it. So I think it will be a very tough call for Mikel Arteta and his boys. But then I feel football has its own way of coming out with history. So you just have to manage the games and see what the titles or whatever that will come your way.
Okay.
Arsenal for me, they are not a club that I see them do that magic. But then I just hope that Mikel Arteta will just take them out of the woods and then so that they can do that.
I mean, not to seem like a little bias and put a Liverpool spin on it, but there was a season about 2-3 seasons ago, Liverpool were actually going for all 4 trophies.
I remember.
Yeah, and if you remember when
you think that would happen?
No, I'm just pointing out it hasn't been done before in English football. There's a reason why no team has been able to do it.
What's the reason?
I mean, it's quite difficult to do, especially.
Has it got to do with? So has it got to do with the squad depth, players not living up to?
I think it's concentration from the start of the season to the end. So if you take something like the Carabao Cup, that's at the start of the season. So that means even when the season starts, even if things are not going well, you still need to make sure that you're able to progress through to the other round, even if you're rotating your squad.
Yeah.
And you have to keep that all the way to the FA Cup and then the Premier League and the Champions League. If you remember what happened with Liverpool was they won the Carabao Cup and they won the FA Cup, but then they lost the Premier League on the last day to Man City.
Yeah.
The comeback again to was it West Ham, Aston Villa, Man City last comeback, and they lost the Champions League final to Real Madrid. Vinicius Junior scored, and that's like, so they were nearly perfect, but it just took 2 games where things didn't go quite good for them.
Undone.
Yeah, how do you call it, practically? Because if they had been able to at least win the Champions League, it would be a more memorable season. But now when you look back at it, because they were only able to win the FA Cup and the EFL Cup, it looks like a quite average season, whereas it could have been more than that. And that's just where the struggle is, I think, for Arsenal. And I think that's why I think that they need to focus on the trophy that they really want. If it's the Premier League that they think that this is the first time in 20 years that we're going to win it, and we need to have that much concentration, doesn't necessarily mean that you need to try and lose other games. It just means that you need to rotate your squad in a way where it looks like you're prioritizing these games. It means that sometimes you might have to put a weakened squad against a team that you think you might beat, and if it doesn't work out sometimes, you have to take the hit and then just move on. Because if they are going to be able to keep it up in all competitions, especially in the Champions League, I mean, if they do it, then it would be incredible. But I think it's going to be a very hard thing to do.
Okay, yeah. Your thoughts on Arsenal?
Yeah,
on the 4 trophies available to them.
I mean, why not? Why not go for it? Because at the end of the day, you have a situation where Barcelona have won all 6 titles. Bayern Munich have won 6 titles in a season, over a period, a season period. PSG have done it. They did it last season, where they won 6 trophies. And so, why can't Arsenal do it?
I mean, don't you think it's slightly unfair? Because in England, the Super Cup or whatever we use, the Community Shield is shifted out for the EFL Cup. Which means rather than winning a standalone game to add to your trophy, you have to now go through a whole competition to another to get the 6 trophies.
I mean, with the Community Shield is just the Super Cup.
Yeah, so if you had the Community Shield, there would be 7 in England. That's what I'm trying to say.
More or less. So yeah, you can even top it up. Okay. So in that sense, why can't you just go for it? Why shouldn't you go for it? Because at the end of the day, like you mentioned, the depth that they have, I think it's the best in Europe. The top 5 leagues in Europe. I don't see any team that has as deep a depth as Arsenal when it comes to their squad, because you can swap out their starting 11 and bring in the second unit, and they will be stronger than most teams in the EPL, more than almost 3/4. almost 3/4.
You know what I want to say about that?
So in that sense, if you have such a team,
yeah,
and you have a manager who continues to grow, and yes, he's not an Ancelotti or he's not a Pep Guardiola, but he's almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why can't you go for it? You should be able to go for it. So especially when in the Champions League, things are setting up for Arsenal to make it to the semi-finals,
possibly the final too.
and possibly the finals. Because if you are playing Bodo Glimt and all these teams, yeah, I mean, I expect them to beat them and qualify to the quarterfinals. Then the quarterfinals,
Arsenal playing who, Leverkusen?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about the path there.
The path. Yeah.
So they go past the meet Bodo Glimt Sporting.
Likely Bodo Glimt, because I see
and then probably
Bodo
pass
Glimt
to
will
in the
beat.
semi-final.
I see Bodo Glimt will beating Sporting Lisbon. Yes. And so if you beat Bayer Leverkusen, which I honestly know that Arsenal will beat Bayer Leverkusen, that means they play against Bodo Glimt.
Yeah.
Then they qualify. Then they qualify to the semi-finals. Yeah, it's there for the taking. 2 legs, then you're in the final. It's there, and on top of that, last season they were in the semi-finals.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's something new to them or to this group of players. They've been there before.
Okay.
And so even the guys that they brought in this past off season, Victor Gyökeres has Champions League experience.
Yeah.
Madueke has Champions League experience. So it's possible. It's possible. So you have the quality, you have the depth, you have a very good manager who continues to ascend or who is still ascending, and you have an edge over pretty much everyone in the game when it comes to the trendiest way of playing, which is scoring through set pieces. Why can't you win it all? So for me, yeah, they should go for it, because at the end of the day, it is there for the taking, and things are opening up and shaping up for them to be able to take it. So yeah, 4 trophies, yeah, it's plausible. They can get to win all 4 trophies. If they miss out on maybe 1 and they win 3, it's still solid anyway.
Still success for me.
It's still success, yeah.
Okay. How would you rate Arteta if he?
Don't do that.
No, you have to
Don't
do it.
that.
It's part of the conversation. So he has 4 trophies to win. Let's say he wins the PL, and then he wins the
FA Cup.
FA Cup. No, the Carabao Cup. What would be your rate card for him?
If he wins the one,
He wins the PL and then the Carabao Cup.
I mean, getting the Premier League itself over the line, I think he deserves.
Yeah, it's just the PL. If they win the PL, anything that happens, they don't care. They don't care, and Arsenal fans won't care. And if they win the PL,
You don't think-
curtains, whatever happens is just a bonus.
You don't think the Arsenal fans would push this team to do what they did again last season in the Champions League, get to the semi-finals again, especially when they look at the side of the draw that they are on, and if they look at their chances of going past Leverkusen, Bodo Glimt, and whoever is on that part, Sporting Lisbon and those people.
I mean, with all due respect, with 1 trophy in 6 years, I mean, unless we're not including the Community Shield, because he says he has 3 trophies.
Yes, he does. It's the Super Cup. It's the Super Cup. The Community Shield is the Super Cup.
Okay, we'll take it like that.
Yes,
We'll
it
take
is the
that.
Super Cup. The English version of the
So
Super
we
Cup.
are equating it to.
Didn't he win one of them for finishing second?
I mean, at the end of the day, it is.
The USSC won the treble.
At the end of the day, it's played between the winner of the FA Cup and the
And the
winner
league,
of the
yeah.
league.
I think
And so
so.
you had
Right,
the
City
situation-
won the treble.
Yeah,
They
and so
finished
at the end of
second.
the day, they won it. But the Spanish Super Cup, don't you have 4th place teams competing in it?
Yeah, but that's 4 teams. That's a competition.
That is the format, and so the format
It has
in
to be the
England
format,
is
yeah.
in England is that
The winner of the FA Cup.
winner of the
And then
FA
the
Cup
league.
is the same team that wins the league. The team that finishes in 2nd place gets to compete for the Community Shield. That is the format. In Spain, as many as 4 teams get to compete for the Super Cup. That is their format. It wasn't the case back in the day. It wasn't the case. Then they changed it, and so that is the format that the league has accepted, and you just go with the flow. So in England,
Because you're not happy
The
with
format is that
you're not happy with
if
that
the
format.
team that won the league
Yeah.
ends up winning the FA Cup, the team that finished second in the league will compete against that team.
Yeah.
And battle for the community shield.
That has happened before in one of the seasons.
but I've seen teams that finished second that were not competitive, and I've seen teams that get to an FA Cup final that were far more competitive. So you have years where it's a team that were clearly outclassed, but because they finished second, they still get competing in the trophy. And I just think that, especially because in England they specifically refer to it as a curtain raiser or as a friendly game, it sort of takes away the. Obviously, it is a trophy. I'm not here to discount the fact that it is a trophy. But they view it more as a friendly, so it gets a little hard to give more credit to the trophy itself. It looks like I'm trying to discredit Arteta. That's not necessarily what I'm trying to do. It's the community shield, and just the fact that it's not always the most competitive teams that end up competing in the
the final.
In the final of it. But if it's a final, but yeah, but but sure.
Why are you trying to rubbish the community shield in a very nice way?
I'm not trying to rubbish. I'm not trying to rubbish the
do.
community shield. I'm just pointing out that.
But you see this argument, right? I've heard it from, and I've heard and read from other people. I mean, how they view it. Like you said, some people view it as a friendly game. Some people also view it as that competition that you can actually count as part of your.
Yeah, I mean,
the trophy success.
Mourinho called it
the
part of
trophies
it.
you've won en route to opening the league campaign or whatever it is. And some coaches and even players give it more attention than even the start of the league. So they go into it like Leicester City. There was one season they won.
I think
The reason why David Moyes' reign at Manchester United isn't classified as trophyless is because he
won
got
the
Manchester United to win the community shield. So how can you say that it is not a trophy?
Yeah,
It is a trophy. It is the English version of the Super Cup. David Moyes won that trophy with Manchester United.
Wow.
And so because of that, David Moyes' time at Man United, which lasted 7 months,
he has a
almost 8
trophy
months.
to show.
He has a trophy
To show for it. So, Kwache, please proceed without denigrating.
That means every Manchester United manager has a trophy bar Ruben Amorim, unless I'm mistaken.
Well,
Yeah.
Jose won it.
Mourinho won.
Yeah, Mourinho won the Europa League.
Except for
League.
okay, Ole probably didn't win. He got to Europa League final.
Yeah.
but
That is the standard of Manchester United.
Alex Moreno?
Moreno. Every coach that coaches at Man United should win a trophy. That is the standard. That's why they are an elite club. That's why they are an elite club. So you have a situation where Van Gaal, he won the FA Cup. The following day, he got sacked.
I mean, but
He got sacked because he failed to qualify the team to the Champions League. That is the standard.
I still think it's a little scandalous to be because Mourinho added it to his, and he said it was a treble when he won the EFL Cup, the Community Shield.
The treble is FA Cup, Champions League title. Anything other than that, it is not a treble. Man City had that before. They won the Carabao Cup, they won the FA Cup, and they won the English Premier League. They called it a domestic treble. It is not a top treble because there was no Champions League in it. A treble is when you have a European competition title win.
Europe, and
yes,
the others from
so
the
maybe
domestic.
it could be. I think there was a time Liverpool won it.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Yeah, Europa League. That time it was UEFA Cup. They won UEFA Cup. They won FA Cup, and they won Carabao Cup. That is the domestic. That is not a
so that's like
top
a
level.
proper treble.
No, that's not even a proper treble because they didn't win the league.
Okay. So your proper treble
is league, FA Cup, Champions League, or maybe Europa League. Yes, that is a treble.
Yeah. Well, you see, what I was saying, I was also opening another side of the conversation because I'm sure somebody's view of a proper treble too will be.
I know.
I have won the league, I have won the FA Cup, and I've won the Carabao Cup.
That is a domestic treble.
No, I get it.
No,
but I understand domestic, but somebody would also not agree to the fact that you're adding the I have won the treble.
Which other country can you win two trophy, like how do you call it, cup competitions? It's very rare. It's only England that you have in the same season you have two cup competitions, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup.
France used to have the
Coupe de France.
No, they had the French Cup, and they used to have the Coupe, the trophy, the Super.
They
used to have it, and they scrapped it. They scrapped it. And so it used to be France and England, but France have ditched it. And so it's now only England. And that pretty much even gives it more credence to my argument that because the other nations or leagues, they don't have the Carabao Cup or their versions of the Carabao Cup, what constitutes a treble is that you win the Italian Cup, Spanish Cup, German Cup, or Dutch Cup, or the Portuguese Cup, then you win the league, then you win a trophy in Europe.
Okay. Kwache, now you can proceed with your submission.
Yeah, sorry. So Arteta has 3 trophies, 3 major trophies at Arsenal. And even though that's a lot, I still think that it's a little too rich for the fans to now come back and be like, oh, you're not like, why aren't we winning all these trophies this season? Mainly because they've been patient with him. They've been able to give him patience to build what he's been building to try and get closer to winning the league title. Because there were times where they were competing for the league title, but they were not clearly the best team in the league. And now we're in a season where I think it would be a disappointment if they didn't win the league, because they are clearly the best team in the league. And that's why I think that you can't ask for too much at the same time. If he's able to win the league now, I think next season is when he's under a lot of pressure. Next season is when he needs to start building on this league title and at least become the first. I don't think was Wenger able to retain the league title. I don't think so.
No,
Wenger never retained the league title. He only won 3 league titles, and they all came at 3 different points. So he'd become the first manager since maybe George Graham. I don't remember that far back, but maybe he'll be able to retain a league title, and that's when the standard improves for him. He can become the first manager to win a European league title for Arsenal. Like, there are so many targets that he can set for himself gradually. He doesn't necessarily need to either be judged right now by everything he does this season. Whereas the season already, if you look at the thing he's been able to achieve, it's a success. And that's where the credit of Arteta comes through. Because as much as you want to discredit the fact that he hasn't won as many trophies as he could have, he took Arsenal from whatever United are. If you look at what United are right now, he took Arsenal from a point that was maybe even below that and brought them back to, competing for league titles. And now he took them to a point where they are the forefront. They are the ones who are leading, the challenges for titles. And I think that can't be discredited, regardless of how you feel about Arteta or how you feel about how long it's taken for the project to actually work out. He has still been able to get this team competitive, and that's not always guaranteed with managers. And United felt the same way with Amorim, that eventually they were building towards something. It took them a while to realize that it doesn't necessarily mean that sometimes there are positive signs, that doesn't necessarily always mean that you're building towards something. And this is also Arteta's chance to prove that he's not just a build man. I think I like the analogy that we used yesterday, the Moses analogy. Like, you see the promised land, but you won't actually get there.
Okay.
And this is his chance to prove that he's also a winning manager. Because that's another thing that's starting to be noticed. There are lots of these building managers who are able to get clubs to go somewhere. When they're at a certain level, they're able to make the club look better. Maybe like Graham Potter and those class of young managers. But none of them are actually proven winners yet. The proven winners are still either the older heads who have been managing for a long time, or the managers who were players who were managers who actually have the mentality of being winners, like Zidane, like Guardiola, different managers like that. And I think there's a chance for this new squad of managers to show that they can also win trophies and they can also build a legacy of clubs.
Okay. Patrick, you have the final say. I'll read some messages and then we'll go for our first break on Arteta and yeah.
I mean, this Arteta fantasy. I'm just hoping. I mean, if you look at the record in England, and I'm just hoping that he'll be able to do the record. I mean, Arsenal, their club, they've been struggling. I mean, year on year they perform. They find themselves in the web in terms of winning the English Premier League, but they struggle at the end of it. So, I'm looking at Pep Guardiola. He's just racing with Mikel Arteta, just like a long distance runner. He's following him. The little mistake Mikel Arteta does, you bypass him, and so he's an experienced coach as well. That's Pep Guardiola. So I'm looking at the games, the remaining games, and then I'm just hoping that Mikel Arteta will be able to strengthen his team, because they've done it before, they bottled it, and then so I'm just expecting the team to be very resolute. I mean, they need to keep the focus in terms of the games that they have. You get it? And then you look at the players sometimes you don't know what gets over them. In games that you expect them to win, that's where they drop points, like Man City did within the week. So I'm looking at Mikel Arteta as a manager who wants to do something for Arsenal Football Club. If you look at the investment into the club, the stadium they have, the number of people who troop to that stadium to watch games week on week, I feel it is about time. I mean, they win a silver, where that is the English Premier League. So I'm just hoping that the team will be very strong, or they'll be very focused. And I know my Arsenal fans are waiting for that day. You get it, and it will not be easy out here in Ghana. But if you look at the likes of Sol Campbell and co, they are all waiting. They will add their voices. So I'm just waiting for that day.
Okay. You want to say something?
Just to comment on the Arsenal bottling thing, I think this is the first season where you can actually use a bottling label properly. I think in other seasons they were competing for the league, but like I keep saying, they were, if like you said how they experienced racer now, at first they were not that. They were the prodigy. They were the exciting package, the unknown package. And this season, I think they are actually the best team in the league. And if it's this season that they are unable to win it, I think this is when we can actually say that they bottled it.
Okay.
And I mean, this is also the time that they can change the narrative around them. Because I don't think my voice is going to change the narrative around them solely. That because people still think they bottle things. So this is how they can change things around.
Okay. Let me just run you through the scores from the other league centers, and then we'll go for our first break. And when we come back, we'll talk about Spurs and Igor Tudor. In the Italian Serie A, it's halftime between Como and Cagliari. Como 1, Cagliari 0. Later 5, Atalanta is up against Udinese, and then Juventus will take on Pisa. Wolfsburg are beating Hamburg by 1-0 in that game. Leipzig and Augsburg is goalless. Mainz and Stuttgart goalless there. Heidenheim and also Hoffenheim is goalless in there. And then Freiburg playing goalless with Bayer Leverkusen. It looks like Hoffenheim have taken the lead against Heidenheim. For Wolfsburg, Jonas Ajete, I think, is starting today for Wolfsburg, a Ghanaian who plays for Wolfsburg as a centre back. He's starting. Yes, Ajete is playing today, so it's a good one for Ghana ahead of the World Cup. Let me take some messages on the WhatsApp console. 053996 986
3.
Yeah. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised because our last few games in the World Cup, we played in the back 3.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at the transition
from that to the national
Stars.
team. Okay.
Yeah, because
I think for the Black Stars too, he played on the right side.
Yeah, on the right side.
Yeah.
So he played on the right side. Kojo Pompepra, OGC Nice.
Yeah.
Also,
in the middle.
He usually plays in the back 3 with OGC Nice. Jikua has already shown that he can play in the back 3. So yeah, those are the things I'm looking out for. I know that he's a solid player and he's getting some quality playing time. But I'm looking at the transition because from club level to national team level, because that is what is haunting us as a country. That the players do so well out there. They come here and it's all over the place. It's not the same. So I'm looking at a situation where we can build a system where the players come in, they can fit, they can play their roles, feel comfortable, but complement each other.
Okay.
So that's where that's why I paid particular attention to how the team was set up and where he is playing, because I have maintained that the back 3 system, a 3-4-2-1 kind of system, it works best for Ghana.
Yeah. And
but unfortunately,
he's also playing well for Celta.
Yeah, he's recovered from the ACL last season, and now he's starting to get some minutes. Well. And so that's what I am looking at, how to get the best out of our players, because the minutes are coming. They are playing the minutes. And so it's all about meshing them and how team to cohesion. Make them produce like they produce when they are out there for their clubs.
To Coach Otuado, that's from Yawa Jaminta. Kobe Baden listening live from Dansuma Sarah says, yesterday on Sports Panorama, I heard Abeku talking about the experience and the issues of the DIU. Please, I want to inform him that modern day football is not about experience, but about coaching and the mindsets of the players. England had all the experience previously, but couldn't win anything. Inter had the experience to win the UCL, but it ended up in tears for them. Which season? Because that, I know, but he's supposed to. Yeah, he's supposed to add the. Because if you say Inter had experience to win the UCL, it's kind of like.
I mean, because it's fresh, so maybe that's why. And Konigsdorfer is also starting for Hamburg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in that game against Wolves.
In Ransford, Konigsdorfer.
Yeah, Wolfsburg. Yeah, Ransford, Konigsdorfer.
Charlie, that player. When it comes to the Black Stars, he looks like he's not played football before. I don't know what's wrong with our players. Well, Kole Gideon from Koforia says, Arteta wanted to get Calafiori fit because he hasn't played much since his return from injury. I think it was the perfect game to get him fit. Did you see the pitch they played on?
Yeah, Gideon. I don't have a problem with that. But on that pitch, that's where I have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, and guess what? He played and he got an injury.
Yeah. So, back to the frying pan. Hot Babs from Airport says, I think this will be very tough to win all the trophies, especially the EPL, until they sign. Oh, Charlie, what are you doing? He says until they sign Declan Beans. In addition to Rice. Oh, Charlie, our listeners. Why would you do this? Not someone's name. Hot Babs. Okay, let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll get to Spurs and Igor Tudor. Tudor says he tired already. So elsewhere, Osasuna 2, Mallorca 2 in the Spanish La Liga. We're taking our first break. The Republic of Football on 97.3 live on Channel 1 TV. I'm Gabby Ofe. We'll be back after this. Welcome back from the break. This is the Republic of Football, live on 97.3, live on Channel 1 TV as well, and I'm live on YouTube, City Sports Ghana. We're also on X City FM. You can listen to us over there. You can send your thoughts on 0539969996. I'm Gabi Ofe in studio with Yao Ejeminta, Patrick Bonny, and Mano Angelo Kwache. Raymond Decoder inside Tema Community 4 says, good afternoon, Republic of Football. For Ghanaian interest, it saddened me that my team, Real Madrid, is paired with Man City because of Antoine Semenyo. Madrid will go through. Okay, Danilo says, it baffles my mind when United find themselves at the losing end with a man advantage. 0539969996, 0539969996. That's the WhatsApp line. Guys, just a quick word on Como. Before we get back to Spurs, they are beating Cagliari now. So if they win today, they are first. They were fighting for the Conference League spot next season, but now they are in the Europa League spot. Charlie, yeah.
And they maintain it because there's also AS Roma.
They're also in the semi-finals of the Coppa d'Italia. They played goalless with Inter. In the first leg.
I think Inter will qualify. The other half of the bracket in the Coppa Italia.
That's Atalanta.
It's Lazio and Atalanta.
Yeah.
Yes, they drew 2-2 in the first leg. Kamaldeen Sulemana got an assist in that particular game. So yeah, for me, I think Inter will qualify and ahead of Como, and in the Europa League qualifiers or the qualifiers for the Europa League. I'm tipping AS Roma.
But Roma is in the top 4.
Top four. I mean,
the Champions League.
And
so it's for one spot for Europa next season and another for Conference League in Italy.
I'm looking at Como picking the Europa League. No
Conference League.
Conference League.
Okay, so they are competing with Juventus now.
I see Juventus ahead of Como.
How the mighty have fallen.
I see Juventus also qualifying for the Champions League. That's why I picked Roma to make it to the Europa League.
Oh, okay.
I see Juventus qualifying to the Champions League because over the past few weeks they've lost games. They lost to Inter Milan by 3-2. With them, and they played with a man down for about 63 minutes of that particular game. Atrocious referee from decision from the referee to dismiss Pierre Kalulu from that game. Then, and I saw the way they battled very well in that particular game. Then in their Champions League,
they got
lost,
annihilated by Galatasaray 5-2.
They also lost a man. They went down by a man for about 60 minutes, and they forced the game into extra time, and they did a very good job in that particular game. Unfortunately, yes, they got outlasted by Galatasaray. Osimhen scored, and then they got another goal, and it became 5-3. And so in that sense, they've shown to me that they're a team that can really dig deep and can get things done, especially under Luciano Spalletti. And that they are getting more comfortable with him because he wasn't their coach at the start of the season. He was Igor Tudor. Then Tudor got sacked, Spalletti came in, and things weren't too good. But now I see the way they've played in recent weeks, and I honestly believe that they will have a very solid end to the season. That's why I'm picking them ahead of AS Roma to make it to the Champions League. So I see Juventus joining Napoli and Inter Milan, AC Milan to go to the Champions League. Then the Europa League for me is AS Roma. Then the Conference League I see for Como picking it up.
Interesting pick. Kwache, your thoughts on Como's run compete to clinch one of the places in Europe, Conference or Europa League next season.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
And bear in mind, they've already beaten Juventus.
Yeah, home and away, I think.
Yeah, the last result was a 2-0 win. It came in the 5 games for Juve where they won just 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even this game, I'm looking at paying attention to this game because of Ghanaian interest. Ibrahim Suleimana plays for Cagliari.
Yeah.
So I'm also looking at how he's also faring in this particular game against Fabregas. Fabregas' setup. Yeah, that's him on the ball. So yeah, he's looked quite good. Because there could be a possibility that Partey won't play at the World Cup, or he might be limited at the World Cup.
So Sibo and then Sulemana.
Yes. And that for me, I mean, would have some issues in terms of
two DMs.
Yeah. And in terms of, they are not necessarily
proper
deep line ball progressors and deep line playmakers at the same time. They are your old school fashion DM, break up play and just pick out the simple pass and let the creative players do their thing. So I'm looking out for signs that he can progress the ball, signs that he can pick out a long pass, signs that he can pick a pass that would break through the line of midfield and get to the next phase. So yeah, those are the things I'm looking out for.
All right, Kwache.
I mean, looking at Como, I think they've done really well. I think they progressed from last season, which is impressive. The only thing is, initially at the start of the season, I think we thought it was going to be a 3-horse race in Italy with Milan, Inter, and and Napoli. But Napoli haven't put together a proper title defense. We thought the problems this season were only in the Champions League. But it looks like they've extended to the league as well. And that means that while they haven't been able to keep up with Inter, because Inter are now much further ahead, it means that they have
those of you who were laughing at Christian Kivu when he appointed him and said that he can't win the league. I thought they'd struggle to adapt from moving on from Simone Inzaghi. It's not necessarily about how Kivu himself, it's just about how much Inzaghi had been able to do at both both Lazio and then moving to Inter now. I was also surprised that he was going to chase money in Saudi Arabia rather than trying and build on a season where they nearly won the league and they nearly won the Champions League. I think the missing out on both trophies made it a bit harder to take for him, and he decided to move on and try something else. But it looks like Inter themselves have been able to hold it well. So now they are 10 points ahead of Milan on the table. They are 11 points ahead of Napoli, which means that they have they have a clear gap to the other two teams with about 11 games to go, 10 games to go to the end of the season. So it means that Como realistically won't be able to catch up to them. But there's because there's a gap between Napoli and Como. About if they win this game, it comes down to about 5 points. Yeah,
they go level on points.
Napoli 56, Como 51.
Yeah, they go. Como will level on points with Roma, but Roma played a game less, so it depends on how they play this season. So I think I mean Roma have been good under Gasperini, but they might just and they might find it a bit hard to compete in, like you said, in the Coppa Italia and also in the league. But I think, like I said, they're just trying to finish up a good season and make sure they have something to show for it. I don't know whether they'd be happy with the Conference League, as much as the Conference League is a good competition.
I still think they would be okay. I listened to one of the owners of Como, and he mentioned that they didn't expect to see the team perform at this level or to get to this height under Fabregas. Their word to Fabregas was that Fabregas gets stability for this team. They avoid relegation, build on that, and then they can augment the squad and go again next season. But he's overachieved. Yeah, whether they clinch or they do not, I still think that Fabregas has overachieved with the Como team. That's even if they miss out on a place in Conference League, because that's like the least of what he has to do. I mean, given the good run he's been on with the team for some time.
I mean, I think that also.
But I still
he's
think
had advantages at being a coach.
Yeah, and maybe you'd be disappointed. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Looking at the way they've been very consistent in the league, and then they think that this team can go on and clinch one of the places in Europe next season, and then they don't.
I don't like to come across as cynical, but like Como are not this. How do I say this?
They're not.
It's an incredible story, and whenever I point, like I use this caveat, people, it seems like I'm trying to hate on the team.
Okay, which
But
is
put together, they have the richest owners in, I think, world football, in Italian football
Yeah.
at least. They
yeah.
have the wealthiest owners in Italian football.
Mhm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that they spend like millions on players.
They haven't.
But they have invested in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the club, in terms of mechanics. They're different. They are different. They're not necessarily competing from paupers. Like
Well,
they're not.
Cagliari have equalized.
Sebastiano Esposito.
Yeah.
That's the
From
brother
Nigeria.
of. That's the brother of the Inter Milan young striker. Is it Piero Esposito?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
That
see.
they are brothers.
Esposito.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 1-1. Cagliari Como.
Yeah, and they have that's another advantage that if you notice, when Gerrard was at Rangers and when Lampard was also in the Championship with Derby, like once you have a certain level of player, like once you were a certain level of player, the favors you can get from certain clubs are slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can go to maybe Chelsea or Barca, and you can even see with someone like Nico Paz.
Yeah.
Like there are these little deals that you have not like you have an early sign. You're able to sign these world class quality players on deals that maybe you're not able to keep them permanently, because I think someone like Nico Paz, Real Madrid have a buyback clause in his contract that they will activate at the end of this season. That's almost guaranteed. So maybe you can't keep the talent for a long period of time, but your access to talent just based on the level of player you have and the level of connection that you have in the game. Like he's Fabregas. The owners are like Theory and me is part of the owners.
Yeah.
The connections that they have in football means that they have
A small
access a
stick,
bigger
though.
pool. Yeah,
He has
I
a
mean,
small stick.
no, but I mean, he means that if they need, the stake isn't necessarily the point. It's the partnership that's help and the
Okay.
influence. And if they need,
So the people on it.
yeah,
on
the
board.
people that they can connect to, and these things are advantages, and it's helped them progress faster than maybe they would have anticipated. But they also had the structure behind the team that means that they were not necessarily starting from zero. It means that they had they had certain factors going for them that meant that they were able to build on that, and that's what's reflecting in the team. And maybe the shock thing is that in Italian football, they haven't other teams are usually the most competitive at that stage and not the ones doing that. Lazio themselves, since they came under Maurizio Sarri, I don't know if they struggled with investment, but since Inzaghi left and they've been under Maurizio Sarri, he himself hasn't been able to replicate the success that he had when he was at Napoli. Ever since he's left Napoli, I think he struggled to replicate that success. He did really well at Chelsea when they won the Europa League, and he used that to balance himself. He managed to win the league when he went with Juventus, with Ronaldo at that time, the last manager to actually win the league for Juventus. But since then, since he's moved to Lazio, they haven't been able to necessarily also play at that level. I think it's about investment, because if you look at the players they have, the fact that sound like I think Pedro still plays for them. Oh, has he moved on? I think he's still there. Guendouzi is their, like they could definitely have better players. Since Immobile hasn't been there, I don't think they've had a striker of that level. Teams like Fiorentina, they are much better this season. I think Moise Kean has started playing much better at the end of the season, but he started the season in the relegation zone, and that for a team like Fiorentina, a team that was competing with the Conference League final like about 2 seasons ago, it's quite surprising to see them not being able to maintain that level. And it's one of the things that I think happens outside the Premier League. Like just because a lot of these teams are just gambling.
Yeah.
Rather than being able to bring in assured quality, they spend 20, 15 million on these little unknown players from Argentina and from Colombia and Chile and and America, and some of them in the MLS. And it means that they can't necessarily be consistent with their quality. It's obviously money really helps, and the better quality players you have, the more you can be consistent with your style of play. But if you look at teams, even in other leagues like Spain and La Liga, other teams are not able to invest money at a level because they don't have enough. I don't know if it's just the TV rights, man, but because they don't make enough money from their league, they're not able to invest at that level.
Yeah.
And it means that sometimes they have to take a gamble with either managers or players, and you can't always have the same level of quality. Throughout.
Patrick, any word on what Fabregas is doing with Como? And if you look at the games they've got left to play, you think they can go on and then compete in Europe next season?
Well, if you look at the teams in the Italian Serie A, and then you look at the position of Como, I think they are doing a great job. Last season they were 10th, and then if currently they are around, is it 4th or 5th?
They are fifth.
They are 5th.
Yeah.
So it is an incredible run for the team. It is always good to amass points. And then if you look at the game currently being shown on television, you can see that they are playing quite well, and the away team.
Yeah.
But then they took the lead first, and so it tells you they have a very solid mindset in terms of what they are doing on the pitch. And then I kind of like what they are doing in terms of Fabregas getting his hands on the boys, and it seems they understand what he wants from them, so they are doing the job for him. The Italian Serie A, I mean, the competitiveness, it is down.
Has gone down
as compared to those
the
days
previous
where,
seasons.
Yes, where the Milans were buying. I mean, the investment into the Italian league was up there. You get it. So I think with what I've seen so far with them, if they can keep up the momentum, I mean, the way their style of play, they are very combative. They don't allow themselves to be exploited. You get it. So I feel if they'll keep up with it, it will be very positive for the team. I love how they play. They have young players also, and then it seems, I mean, if you look at the stadium, the game is being played. You know, this is a typical open space stadium where the weather is also good, so they are enjoying themselves. And I hope Fabregas will keep tabs on the boys. I mean, keep on teaching them. If you have Thierry Henry being part of your team, it tells you that he'll add more to the game. You get it. I remember Claudio Ranieri when he was with Chelsea, and then he was speaking about Roman Abramovich after a game, and then he walked into the dressing room unexpectedly, and then they were all shocked. So sometimes if you're a player and then you have these big guys who have been in the business for a very long time, I mean, gracing your dressing room, it gives you that momentum to perform. And so I believe it is one of the reasons why the boys are performing for Como. And then I just hope that they keep up the performance, and then Fabregas himself will keep on learning on the job, because to end the league 10th and then this time finding yourself fit and then still, I mean, moving on, it is encouraging.
Guess who's been thrown on?
Alvaro Morata.
Alvaro
Yeah, he's
football is funny. Morata used to play
with Fabregas.
Yeah. Now he's being
Conte.
Yeah, under Conte.
Yeah.
Charlie, who would have thought that you see two former Chelsea players who contributed to the success of Chelsea?
Now that time Moreno too would have been at Liverpool.
2016-17, I believe.
Yeah.
Conte season.
Yeah, Conte season 2016-17.
And
so he would have been there in 2016-17.
Yeah.
Conte came and won the league in 16-17, but that was with Costa.
Yeah.
And then after Costa went to Brazil and he said you can't come back, and then he tried to sign Morata. And that they won an FA Cup together, but it didn't really work out for Morata at Chelsea or anywhere else.
The whole Fabregas thing, hype, I don't think it's overblown, because at the end of the day,
you think it's in order?
I think it's in order, because you look at what he has to work with. It's not the greatest of squads. It's still a talented group, though. But look at how we view Iraola. Look at how Iraola is largely viewed.
So you're saying it's just a similar thing?
It's a similar thing that Fabregas is doing. Iraola gets all this praise because he almost got Bournemouth to qualify to the Europa League, or to the Conference League.
Yeah, just to add context to
you see, and what
the worth of the
doing,
players.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I just want to run our viewers and listeners through the worth of the players on the pitch. So he has a goalkeeper in Butes, who was bought for £4.1 million. Alex Moreno, 649 thousand pounds. There's Kemfu is the defender, 2 million. Ramon, 10 million. Van de Brent, 2.6 million pounds. Cunha in the midfield, that's Lucas da Cunha, purchased for 9.6 million pounds. There's Peron, Maximo Peron is an Argentine, 20 million pounds. Baturina, 20 million pounds. Lucas Paz, 57. I think he's the most expensive. And then
Nico Paz was
9.7 million pounds. Duvikas, the chap who was taken off in, for Morata in there. Yeah. So
like I was saying,
when you take Nico Paz, I think he's just the only player who's he's the most expensive in there. 57.
Like I was saying before, so you take Andoni Iraola, you take Marco Silva, for instance. Look at the reputation that they've built over the years because of what they've been able to work with. Like, I mean, getting them to perform way above expectations. And those guys have been penciled or reported to be target of teams like for instance Tottenham Hotspur,
Okay.
because of their ability to work with not so great players and what they've been able to achieve in the English Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I see that and I equate that to what Fabregas has done with Como and continues to do with this Como side, I don't think the hype is overblown. I think it's just right.
Okay.
Because he's done a very good job, and yeah, he's one of those guys that would likely get a promotion in terms of the teams that they get to coach in the next coming years if things continue the way they're continuing, because I see him as either the next Barcelona head coach or Manchester City head coach. I mean, a lot of people are picking Enzo Maresca, but I look at Enzo Maresca and I look at Fabregas. Yeah, I mean, Maresca has won, but I look at even the styles stylistically, and there's also Mikel Arteta also in the mix for maybe a Barca job. I think stylistically, it's Fabregas who checks all the boxes, and I think he's the guy for me. But in terms of what he's been able to do and the hype that he's getting, I think it's just fair and it's just right.
Okay. The first poll we had about Arsenal has been closed. So we asked the question about if Arsenal should sacrifice at least one trophy to ensure Premier League success or Champions League success. We had no, they can win it all, 62%. And then, yes, they should, 38%. So 62% saying that Arsenal can win all 4 EPL titles. And then 38 say that they should drop 1. Kwache, it looks like some of the guys too are not too happy with what you said about Arsenal. So I'll read our comments a bit later. Let me take some of these messages here on WhatsApp. Sekabe's Manchester United says, guys, Carrick cannot handle Man United. Just look at against Newcastle. If United have a good technical coach, they could have won with the advantage of 10 men. How on earth should you bring Malachi to the game? Okay. Ekiaba from Accra, Newtown says, ever since I was introduced to this sports program, this message, I'll read it with so much joy. And it's for Kwache. Ever since I was introduced to this sports program by Kofi Korea, I've enjoyed every bit of the show. God bless you guys. God bless you too. He says, I admire Manuel so much. His voice is just smooth on the analysis. You get crash. So you finish good. Okay. Daniel says, is Daniel Mate still active or he's not retired though? Or is he retired?
No.
He's never said anywhere.
He's actually training at the University of Ghana State.
He's never said anywhere he's retired, and he's training because he has to train. The World Cup is coming, so he has to train. So he's training at the Legon. He said the Legon Stadium,
The last time,
every day.
His last upload, we have it on social media.
On our handle, you can go and check it out.
He trained at the University of Ghana State.
Daniel Amati, solid defender.
At the University of Ghana, one of their pitches, I think it was the rugby pitch. The rugby pitch.
Patrick, why you disagree?
Oh, I mean, he's just emulating what the day you did. Training with the father's team, and then
you get a team.
Yeah, so.
Exactly. So, I mean, we are in what? March. The World Cup is in June. There's 3 months of football to play. So if he's able to do that, he can get into the World Cup squad. Okay. The second question is up. Should the relegation threaten Spurs cut their losses and replace interim boss Igor Tudor? You can head there and also vote. Leave your thoughts also about Spurs in the 054996 054996 So also be keeping tabs on the games that are happening across Europe. No EPL today. Is the FA Cup that is in action, and then there's some Serie A games also in there to look forward to. For Como, the rest of the games they have left to play, they'll take on AS Roma next on March 15, And then there is Pisa on March 22 to play. There's Udinese. They take on Inter Milan, Sassuolo, and then Inter again in the Coppa Italia second leg. There's Genoa also to play, Napoli, Hellas Verona, and then Parma, and then Cremonese as their last game to play for Como. So that is just to give you a sense of the games left to play for Como if they are to chase or get one of the spots in Europe next season. The Italian Serie A later at 5 p.m. there is Atalanta taking on Udinese, and then at 7:45 p.m. Juventus will take on Pisa in that game there. When you head to Germany, Freiburg and Leverkusen is 2-2. Hoffenheim also beating Heidenheim by 2-0. Stuttgart 0, Mainz 1. RB Leipzig are losing to Wolfsburg, and then Wolfsburg and Hamburger it's 1-1 in that game there. In the Ghana Premier League, Samatex Dreams is at 3 p.m. Vision are taking on Brecum Chelsea. 32 minutes played in that game there. Guys, let's talk about Spurs and Igor Tudor. Bonnie, you would have the first say. It's 3 games, 3 losses. The last loss came against Crystal Palace. What I picked up from the Spurs fans is that they want Igor Tudor sacked after just some 8 weeks or 8 days of appointment. They want him gone already.
I mean, for Tottenham Hotspur, you see, they invested so much into the club, and then it's just like the Titanic vessel, that huge vessel that sank. If you look at the investment into the club and then the expectations and where they find themselves in the drop zone, very, very, for me, very, very disappointing. And if you have a coach who just walked into the team and then you felt he was going to change the face of whatever that was happening, and then you still find him in that same problem, then I think you need to have a second look at whatever the coach is all about. And then, so 11 games without a win for Tottenham Hotspur, I find it very difficult to understand. And if you look at the caliber of team Tottenham Hotspur is, and then the position they find themselves, it is very worrying. And then the likes of, I mean, the players that they have, if you pick the team sheet of Tottenham and then you look at the names in there, you will feel like these are guys who should be, I mean, in terms of competing for the league, they should be up there. But it's very, very frustrating if you're a fan and then you sit down and then you are watching their games, and then the attitude of the players, some of the goals they concede, it's sometimes it baffles my mind. And so I feel they still have to do a lot, because I mean, Nottingham, is it Nottingham Forest? They have 28 points, and then so they are in the mix. They are in the mix there, so it makes it very difficult.
I think it's just 1 point or 2 points separate. Yeah.
So it makes it very difficult if you are a fan of the club. So I think that the fans are not happy. I read on one of the tabloids out there where they were talking about the sinking ship, and then so it makes it very difficult for them to follow the club. And then they brought in the coach to come salvage the team. But whatever that is happening now does not seem to be something that will be positive for the club. And then also doing away with the coach at this time will also be very difficult. You get it? So I'm just looking at how they can salvage, I mean, the team in terms of the drop, and then find a very solid way of maneuvering through the storm. If you like the kudos out of the team, and then so if you even monitor the English Premier League, that kind of spark that they used to have when Kudus was playing, it is no more. That vibe is no more there, and then it's very difficult for you to go into the team and then look for somebody who, let's say, will be the linchpin of the team to carry the team on his shoulders. No player is trying to do that, and it makes it very difficult. If you look at the attacking third of the pitch, they are unable to give incisive passes to penetrate and get the goals. And then if you're a team and you are not scoring, and then you have defenders who are also not so firm, they are not that resolute, it makes it very difficult for you to be stable. And then that's what is happening to Tottenham Hotspur. And I feel it is very frustrating if you are a fan of the club. And I'm just hoping and thinking that they will be able to, I mean, find themselves up there. Because if you look at West Ham, they are also winning their games. So and if you watch some of the games like Wolverhampton versus Liverpool in the league, a team that is in a drop zone, a team that has been relegated already, and then you look at the kind of energy they exerted in that game, it tells you clearly that Tottenham Hotspur, wherever they find themselves, they can be relegated at any time. So it is disappointing. The fact that you have the Ghanaian interest there, you would love to see them, in the English Premier League, so that if Kudus will still be there, we'll still have that momentum to follow the English Premier League. But if you look with all the Arsenals, with all the investments, the stadium that they have, 62,000 seating capacity, over 1 billion investment into the facility, and then you find yourself going down to Championship, I think it will not be interesting. That that investment will not be very positive. So I'm just looking at it from that angle, and I'm just hoping that they can do everything in terms of coming out of the woods, because it's some way, somehow, if you're a football lover, like our former president, the former president of our land, who is a fan of Tottenham Hotspur, I do not think that he'll be ecstatic in terms of what the team does. Okay. So we want to see Tottenham Hotspur, survive in the English Premier League.
Okay. Let's take you back to the Italian Serie A. In Como have scored a very beautiful goal, D'Acunha, giving Como the lead. So it's Como 2, Cagliari 1. It looks like they'll be running away with all 3 points, and consolidate their position there. In that, oh my goodness, what a strike!
Left-footed.
Yeah, man.
And a little touch before just to set it up for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was intentional.
I honestly thought he had shifted the ball a little bit too further away.
That was
as in
intentionality.
He set it perfectly.
As in he set it up in a way that would have him attempt the shot, and the shot would fly past the post instead of getting into the net.
Exactly. It's like for me to raise it and know that that's what exactly he's doing.
I thought that he had shifted it a little bit too far wide, but the way he was able to use his shooting technique to get the ball on point and on target, and to be able to generate that amount of power behind it, it was something very special.
That's a really good goal. Very so good. Como 2, Cagliari 1, D'Acunha, the Argentine, given the Fabregas' side the lead against Cagliari. They really want that spot in Europe next season. You can't really tell from the way they are playing. Kwashi, talk to me about Igor Tudor. The man is already tired. No, he's not tired. It's the fans who are already tired with him. After 3 games, they say that, look, let's show the man the exit. Spurs fun.
Yeah, the truth is, I think he's probably the most underwhelming appointment Premier League wise in a long time. And it's not even his fault. I think when the job,
and that's the thing.
Yeah, when the job initially came about, everyone thought that initially the fans don't care. Initially, I thought they were looking more De Zerbi. Like, they were looking at the managers who are available and thinking, who can we get? Who can salvage our season?
I think De Zerbi, the plan for him is to come in next season, start afresh.
At Spurs?
Yes. That's why probably they didn't bring him in. Now they want De Zerbi rather to come and take the team. At this time, get to know the squad, save the team from going on relegation, and then build on what they do this season into next season.
Yeah, I thought the reason they were avoiding De Zerbi is because, he's a little... spiky.
Yeah.
If he was frustrated at the level of investment in Brighton and clubs like that, I don't think Spurs are necessarily a different level. They also seem like the type of club that want to be a big club but don't want to necessarily always have to invest like that. I was listening to Bill speaking this week, and he was just talking. I think he was asked about how Tottenham can get back to a level where they are competing, and the word he uses, he thinks that they need to gamble a bit, and that's literally what it is. I think they play it a little too safe sometimes with some of their decisions, and even Igor Tudor is an example of that. If you look
gamble
at
what the coaches, the players, they bring
just take a risk sometimes, like try and actually invest. Thomas Frank also seems like an obvious logical choice, but he's not a guarantee of something that they haven't had before, if that makes sense. And even when they went for the winning coaches, that played safe football. That's won it by through defensive hard work and grit, and then you win it up the league. And I think that as a club, as a top level club, if they want to get to that level, they've tried a bit, to be fair. I think Xavi Simons was a bit of a how do you call it? Financially, it was a bit of a gamble. But that was also because how they call it, they had lost out on Gibbs White earlier in the season after they missed out on the agreement with Nottingham Forest.
Charlie, that
And
whole
they were
Gibbs White situation.
And they were unable to get Izzy, and Izzy ended up going to Arsenal.
Yeah.
So I think Javi Simmons was a reaction to making it sure that like we had planned to get a player of this type in during this window, and we need to make sure that we get that player in. But if you look at Javi Simmons, I mean, his adaptability to the league was always going to be a struggle. I mean, physically, not because I think Viet struggled with that initially too, but
no, it's his ability.
His ability is incredible. He's talented.
You can't question that.
Yeah, it's about the Premier League. You also need to be. I think in other leagues, because of the pace of the game, you can show up and have good moments, and then it's a good game for you. I think in the Premier League, you need to maintain intensity from start to finish. You need to be able to create the chances or be able to create magic that you do within that tempo of the game. You can't necessarily always hope that you come up against a team that's going to sit back and then you're going to be able to either create through that, or when it's a counter-attacking team, you're going to be able to transition. I think you need to be able to at least read the pace of the game, and then once you're in that, you adapt to it slightly. Yeah, I mean, in terms of Igor Tudor himself, I think that's where he's been damned. I think that since he came in, he looked like a manager who was not exactly what we wanted. They wanted someone to come in who would give them a little excitement about the rest of the season, something that even Thomas Frank wasn't able to give them. Because even though he was coming for Brentford, he didn't necessarily have a history of coaching like top-class clubs. And to compound the appointment of Frank with Igor Tudor, he never had a chance to begin with. And that's why I think that even though people are calling for him to be sacked, I think it's more of it's not too late to make the right decision, if that makes sense. Like, it's only been 3 games, and he hasn't had a good 3 games. And clearly, if he was going to be good, would have been able to tell by now. So let us try not necessarily to away the rest of the season in the way that it's going, and and try to win it. Because this is a dreadful season if you look back into it. To finish 17th the previous season, and then to come into a season to lose 22 league games, and then to come into the next season and not be that much better than what you were in the previous season, disappointing. And if you add to the fact that they haven't won the whole of 2026, in March, they've lost their last 5 games.
Charlie, that statistics is really funny. In 2026,
they have not won a
Spurs have not won a game.
Yeah.
And I saw another damning stats, right? It said in 2026, was it Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United? One of the Sheffields.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Have more wins than Spurs in the entire top 4 leagues in England.
Yeah, I mean,
Charlie?
I think Spurs are the only team.
The 4 leagues in England.
The top 4 divisions in England. I think Spurs are the only team to stop and to not have won this year. Even Wolves and Burnley have won games this year.
Charlie, if Postecoglou is sitting somewhere, I'm sure he will be smiling and licking his lips.
Yeah, I mean, you could see him on the overlap when he came in. He was like, he kept saying that the problems are not him.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that he was even saying last season, where he was like, I always win something in my second season. He said that he didn't believe it himself, but he was saying it to change the mentality at Spurs.
Okay,
if that makes sense. So even though he himself, he wasn't sure that he'd win something in his second season, he kept saying, I always win something in my second season, to change the mind of the players so that they can also start believing that, or maybe we can actually win something this season. And I think I get that his football was risky and he wasn't able to he wasn't able to keep the players fit. But I really think Postecoglou could have done a bit better than what Thomas Frank has done this season, and what subsequent manager Igor Tudor has also done. I think he could have been able to get this team. I think a year on after being adapted to a system, I think after all this,
like a mid-table finish,
at least a mid-table finish. I would take him at his word that he says he sacrificed the Premier League for the Europa League campaign.
Yeah,
I would take him at his word and I would give him a chance. His problem is his spell at Spurs, at Nottingham Forest, where he came for 8 games and he didn't win. That will also be held against him in terms of, if you look at what Spurs have done this season, where he's been this season to manage, he hasn't been able to do much better. But I think that one, he rushed into a different system. He rushed into a situation where he was taking a team that played an entirely different style of football. He was trying to convince them to come and play his high-tempo football within 8 games, and the switch wasn't good enough. But I think if he had been able to stay with this Spurs season, I think he was the last good decision that they made. If he had been able to stick with this Spurs team, he could have been able to get them playing at a better level. And if they had been able to invest and back him and give him players, if his problem is that players get injured, give more depth to the squad, give him better players who actually understand his style of football, and let's see how that's able to go. And I think that indecision, not being able to decide what style of football they want to play, over an extended period of time. So going from Pochettino to Mourinho, going from Postecoglou to someone like Thomas Frank, like they've shown too many times that they are not certain what they want to do with the football. They don't necessarily have a cohesive recruitment plan, because the people who recruit for them are constantly changing all the time. Paratici was there earlier this season, but he's moved along now to Fiorentina, who just moved out of the relegation zone in Italy. But it means that they've been recruiting they have been recruiting consistently. So sometimes they bring in young players, and they did that about 2-3 seasons ago. When Postecoglou came in, the players that they gave him were Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall, and these were the players that he was supposed to build a team with. When Thomas Frank comes in, that's when they actually try and invest some money, and they give him someone like like Javi Simmons and Kolomwani. And I'm just wondering, wouldn't Postecoglou have done much better? After he came in the first season and he trained with Harry Kane, but he wasn't able to keep Harry Kane. And he swears that if he had been able to keep Harry Kane, they would not have been as bad as they were last season. And that is a valid argument. But to come and not have him work with a proper striker and then sack him and then now try and invest for the manager who's coming after that, I think that the whole club in itself hasn't been cohesive in the way they want to achieve. And this is just the effects of that are just showing on them.
Okay, all right. So that's the word on the, Igor Tudor and his job at Spurs. It's a sinking ship, and he gets it surviving again. With just some few games to end the season in the English Premier League. In Germany, it's Bayer Leverkusen 3, Freiburg 2. Hoffenheim also 3, Heidenheim 0. Mainz beating Stuttgart by 1-0. RB Leipzig are losing to Augsburg by 1-0. Wolfsburg and then Hamburger playing a 1-0 draw. And then the Italian Serie A is Como 2, Cagliari 1. When you get to the French Liga, at 8:05 p.m., Toulouse up against Olympique Marseille. And then AJ Auxerre will take on Strasbourg. And there's Nantes up against Angers later 4 p.m. In the French League. Okay, Kanye.
Yeah, I mean, I think the season started out looking exciting. I think PSG have gone back to the...
Yesterday, PSG lost.
Yeah, it was to Monaco.
Yes.
Yeah, I think people are saying that it's making up for losing in the Champions League. I don't think it does. The Champions League means a bit more. I think they would have liked to progress beyond the playoffs of the Champions League. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be another regular-ish season for Liga. It's Marseille that I thought were interesting. They look like they were ready to compete and challenge PSG. But I think since the Zerbi, what did he resign?
But that loss yesterday though against Monaco actually has paved way for second place now. If they win today, is 56 points.
Yeah, they can go.
It's just 1 point. Yeah.
I mean they started the season.
You don't think they can give PSG a run for their money?
I think their better form was at the start of the season, and that's what got them into the position that they're in right now. But if they would be able to go against this PSG team, I'm not sure. PSG have been hit with injury a bit this season. I think that's what's helped the other teams as well. Their front line at different points, none of them they've all been unavailable. But at the end of the day, if we're being on, like you said, is that they're the best team in the league. Their challenge will be whether they're able to go into the Champions League and defend their title. That's I'm not sure. But
Charlie, that performance yesterday against Monaco was atrocious. I was watching the game. It looked like PSG didn't want to be on the pitch.
You are focusing on the Chelsea game.
Yeah, it didn't. I can understand. But I mean, you don't show up in a game and play like that.
And on top of that, maybe they know that yes, they are going through some kind of underwhelming run or poor run. But at the end of the day, some way somehow they have that aura about them that will still end up winning the league anyway. Because Arsenal's last 2 weeks had a chance to go on top, and they bottled it.
Yes,
and it allowed PSG to get back on top of the league. And now, though they've lost, even if Arsenal's win, they'll still be on top. Though the lead will be a bit reduced.
Okay.
So that's how I see it. That they can decide to more or less switch off when it comes to the French league
Yeah.
and focus on
The Champions League.
the Champions League, knowing very well that at the end of the day, the French league, yeah, they can go to sleep for about 3 weeks, and they'll still end up winning it anyway. As soon as they wake up, yes, they can get back into that groove and end up winning the French league title. That's how I see it. But for a quick one on the Tottenham Hotspur thing, for me, the Tudor thing, I don't blame Tudor, because at the end of the day, he came into a difficult situation. Your first game, you're playing against Arsenal, the league leaders. Your second game, that was the one that was a bit disappointing, that they lost to Fulham. But the third game against Crystal Palace that they lost, I wouldn't blame him too much, because they were doing well, they got the lead, and then Mickey van der Ven got himself red carded. And then the momentum of the game turned
And
around.
already said something about the way his players behave.
Yeah, and he said that he's confident that and he believes in them because of the way they responded to that red card.
Yeah.
And so for me in that situation, I think he was handed a raw deal, and the circumstances, ensuing circumstances, also haven't helped him out. So I think they should just stick with him till the end of the season. The management had an issue. I mean, that for me is where I have a problem. It's the management, because, like what you said, if you Gary Bill says the club should take more risk. Okay, they brought in the right manager. He took more risk, which is Postecoglou. He took a lot of risk, and he got them to win the Europa League title.
And then they sacked
Then they sacked him. Then okay,
he was too adventurous.
he was too adventurous. No problem. You want to be conservative. You bring in Mourinho. He plays the football that you do not love. It's boring. It's not the best. It doesn't get the best out of your players. But at the end of the day, he qualifies you to the Carabao Cup final. And a week before the Carabao Cup final, you sack him. So
and
in
then
that
you
sense,
can also with Pochettino, who gets them to their Champions League final,
And
and
then
then Man City.
he sacked him. So
Okay.
in that sense,
You have ambition.
Yeah,
So,
and I like
like-
the point because yeah, he's
so
raising.
for me, it is
From the
the management.
administrative- yeah.
It's the management. It's not down to the players. Look at the players that they have. Look at the recruitment that they've done. It's brilliant, because if you miss out on Eberechi and you bring in Javi Simmons, you've done a wonderful job.
Okay.
It's all about the other stuff. When, for instance, you brought in all these players, but then you go hire the wrong manager in Thomas Frank. When you had the choice of going in for a Marco Silva, when you had the choice of making a hard, strong run for Andoni Raiola, you didn't. You went for Thomas Frank, which was an odd fit, because at the end of the day, the players that you have,
does not fit what
it doesn't
Frank
fit what Frank wants.
So then now they are forced
Frank
to bring in players who will suit Frank's
style,
way of
and it
play.
doesn't work. It becomes too direct. It becomes too mundane. Just move the ball long, counter attacks, and it doesn't fit the philosophy
But
of the
they
club.
didn't really get him what he wanted. Was like, if I'm
They
right,
didn't really. They really
I mean,
he wanted Mbumo. Like,
he didn't get that. He
Yeah,
didn't
but
get
he
that.
got
I think
round
he wanted.
And then he got run
that
out.
was Postecoglou.
Postecoglou wanted.
Yes, he wanted Mbumo and Semenyo when he went on the
Yeah,
overlap,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he delivered that
I
run.
would argue that Frank also wanted to bring in at least one of his
Yeah, one of his
players
boys.
from Brentford.
Yeah, but
He
at the-
probably would have preferred Tony to Kolomwani. Different moves like
But
that.
Tony is in Saudi Arabia. There's no way he's leaving that kind of money and coming to Tottenham
Why?
Hotspur. You get
He's
it.
not done
So
counting the money.
in that sense, it's quite difficult. So at the end of the day, bring in a manager who can work with these players, creative players, and not players who create out of get.
Yeah.
Players who create out of top level talent and quality. So the management messed up on that end. And on top of that, by now, looking at the situation where for 3 straight seasons you've been dealing with injury crisis after injury crisis. By now, the members of the medical department should have been cleared out and new people brought in, because you can't have a situation where your starting 11, regular starting 11, you have as many as 8 players getting injured.
Like what Chelsea have done with their medical
No, it's
department.
and this is not the first time. Like I said, it's happened in like 2 straight years prior to this season.
Yeah.
So it means that there is something wrong with that medical department, because if you cannot get players to eat right, to train right, to rest right, and to do things the right way to ensure that they're able to stay fit and are available way more than they have been over the past 2 seasons, then it means that what have you been doing in your department? There's something wrong there. So that maybe they need to buy the right equipment, cutting edge technology, cryotherapy chamber, something like that. So buy those things, and on top of that, bring in the right people, because you cannot have a situation where Kulusevski is injured, Madison is injured, Kudus is injured, their backline, Destiny Udogie is injured, Jess Spence is injured, Pedro Porro is injured, even Cristiano Romero had his issues at some point. How can you operate? You simply cannot operate. Go through their list.
I'm trying to get out for you.
You have as many as 11 players who are injured, and they are not fringe players, key players. So in that sense, the coach's hands are tied.
Odobert, Kudus,
thank you. Odobert is also injured.
Lucas Bedvar, James Madison, Dejan Kulusevski, Jess Spence, Destiny Udogie, Romero suspension.
Yeah.
And then Ben Davies.
It's one of the other.
So you get it. So how many did you mention?
Some of them are even from last season.
That's
If I'm right, Kulusevski and Madison are from last season.
Yeah, from last season.
Like you
10. That for me is a bit too much.
will return in late April. Bentancur mid-April.
Yeah, but then when they come back, someone else will be injured, and it's like a constant cycle.
For me,
and if you remember, the last time that they had a proper good run of form, the first 10-11 games of Postecoglou's era, when Harry Kane left, and they went on a really good run when they had everybody fit. And it's just
downhill from that point. So for me, the money, I honestly believe Igor Tudor can get 3 wins and manage to keep them in the league. But after this season, the medical staff or medical department needs an overhaul. The management needs to bring in or procure cutting edge technology equipment or technological equipment to help them, the players stay fit. And on top of that, they need to hire the right manager. Hire the right manager, Marco Silva or Andoni Iraola. Those two would work. Or Oliver Glasner. Or Oliver Glasner, because at the end of the day, what he has shown is that he won the Europa League in Germany with Frankfurt. He won the league in Austria. He came to England and Crystal Palace of all teams. He got them to win the FA Cup and Kwachi's favorite tournament, the Community Shield, which is the English Super Cup. So he's won across board in different styles, in different ways, with different personnel. So what that tells me is that, looking at the way Spurs have been built over the years because of the profile of the coaches that they've had, where you have 2 direct players and 2 creative players, so there's no proper link between those two. It's just one or the other. You need a coach who can blend those two together and ensure that they can get some wins. In that sense, for me, Oliver Glasner also meets that mark, and so they should be also looking at him too.
Okay, what do you think? The poll is still up. Should relegation threaten Spurs cut their losses and replace interim boss Igor Tudor after 3 games? So 3 games, 3 losses. The Spurs fans say that, look, he's not a man to
get a team out. Interim manager, do you have to pay him off?
Yeah, you have to, depending on the conversation or whatever you both agree to.
When you agree to the end of the season, if you sack him for the end of the season, you have to.
Yeah, it's a contract.
You said they already funny.
Yeah, no, they're already paying a lot in terms of compensation. Like, can they afford to?
I saw another stat that Igor Tudor is actually their 7th manager since what's the name? Pochettino. Yeah.
Really?
Well, probably could be more.
That's a lot. I mean, I remember, are they including Ryan Mason and these various?
Yeah, Ryan Mason and all those who came in to do interim for the team. Charlie. Spurs, fantastic team. Well, 053-996-996 053-9986-996. Let's take our second break. When we come back, we'll talk some Black Stars. We'll be looking at the performances of our Ghanaian players in playing for their respective teams, and then we'll peg that to their coming World Cup. What are you expecting? I've seen some comments already about Jonas Ajete. Some people say that he should not be closer to the Black Stars because he's just giving away a penalty.
So And then the forward, our forwards shouldn't be called up because they kept on missing chances.
So we'll get into that conversation. Interesting, Patrick. You have a lot to see here. So we'll be looking at Antoine Semenyo top on the list. Jordan Ayew, Fatah Isaku, Kamaldeen Sulemana, who assisted. Jerry Afriyie, I saw a video of him yesterday. He's also in the conversation.
Ashimeru playing.
Majid Ashimeru, Jonas Ajete. Is this guy back? The chap the centre back in Spain.
At the moment, no.
Yes, he's not.
Their last game they played, Rayo Vallecano played. He wasn't even part of the squad.
Oh, okay. I think he's still not much.
He's not much.
Charlie, we need him more.
I don't think he will go to the World Cup. I honestly don't think he will go to the World Cup.
Because looking at Salisu's issue.
Salisu is not going to the World Cup.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
saying. That was
confirmed.
At the moment, I don't think he's going to the World Cup. Tariq Lamptey, I don't think he's going to the World Cup. He's out. Okay, out. Yeah. So we should be looking at defenders out there. They are there in and around the team.
In and around, so like those we've called in the last couple of months.
And I mean, there's Jerome Opoku.
Where is this guy?
So Jerome Opoku is an option.
Nicolas Opoku,
yeah,
he's around.
He's still around. So Jerome Opoku, for instance, then you look at players that are playing competitively around the world. I wouldn't recommend Ghana Premier League defenders.
I mean,
because they are too rash with their tackles. That's the thing.
Razak
Simpson. Yeah, maybe.
I think we should give him a shot.
Yeah, maybe. But for the most part, I'm
saying just because of consistency.
Yeah, because he's been part of the team. Like I said, in and around the team. So Razak Simpson. But for the most part, I'm very buoyant about selecting or picking Ghana Premier League players, the creative midfielders, and a few of the forwards, maybe the wingers too. But when it comes to the defenders,
okay,
and the defensive midfielders, because of the way they are rushed with their tackles, you go to international tournament. Those tackles that Ghana referees will allow you to go, international tournament. No, remember this tackle that was it Emmanuel Amankwa, the Heart of Folk player, he dished out on Dauda Saka, in the Kotoko Accra Heart of Folk game. Many referees will let it go, but because Daniel Ayew is exposed to the international scene, he saw the grave danger in connection to that tackle. You just can't step on someone's Achilles. You just can't do that. That's why he dished out that yellow card and got the guy sent off. But for the most part, Ghana Premier League referees, the last round, we saw that game, Dreams FC, you saw that tackle that the player dished out. There was nothing. So the defenders,
the league is physical.
The defenders have a very, very big problem when it comes to calling up Ghana Premier League defenders to the Black Stars. Like you said, to everyone there's an exception. So maybe Razak Simpson.
Okay. Let's go for a break. Right. When we come back, then we'll get into the Ghanaian players conversation in Europe. You can, if you are listening to us, you can also.
That's my point. Just why in Europe? Why are we not including the Ghana Premier
in
League?
everywhere.
It's like
and everywhere. Sorry,
top Ghanaian.
So if you've seen any player performing somewhere,
the defenders, for instance, Maxwell Wuleji is one I would recommend. He moved from Frederickstad to Nashville SC in the United States. And he started playing for the
Ghanaian players
in the MLS.
They are everywhere.
Now that Albert Amwa is back, I mean, shouldn't his...
Which Albert Amwa? Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into that. So like I said, if you see a Ghanaian player performing somewhere, it could be anywhere, just list them and send it to us 053996 996. You can also add your explanation why you think the technical team should look at those players that you've listed. The Republic of Football 97.3. I'm Gabriel Fe. We also live on Channel 1 TV and on YouTube, City Sports Ghana, here with Manuel Angelo Kwache, Patrick Bonny, and Yao J Mental. We'll be back after this. Welcome back from the break. This is the Republic of Football on 97.3. I am Gabi Affair. The show is every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, so you can always join us on these days. Always an interactive show, so you can send in your thoughts on 0539986996. 0539986996. That's the WhatsApp text line. For the FA Cup games, Wrexham will be taking on Chelsea. And then there's Newcastle United up against Manchester City at 8 p.m. In the Spanish La Liga, Osasuna played out a 2-2 draw with Mallorca. And then Levante are taking on Girona. Is goalless in that game. At 5:30, there's Atletico Madrid up against Real Sociedad. And then Athletic Club will be up against Barcelona. For some Ghanaian interest, Iñaki Williams will be hoping to start against Barca. When he heads to Germany, there is FC Heidenheim losing to Hoffenheim by 4-1. Freiburg are also losing to Bayer Leverkusen in that game. FC Mainz 1, VfB Stuttgart 2, RB Leipzig 1, Augsburg 1. Wolfsburg are taking on Hamburger SV. It's Hamburger 2, Wolfsburg 1. And Jonas Ajete plays for Wolfsburg. He's 22 years old. There's FC Cologne up against Borussia Dortmund. Patrick, why are you laughing? Yeah. Well, I shouldn't mention this.
Yes.
No, I'm trying to compile the list of Ghanaian players. I have to put today for that. Yeah, so it's very necessary. In the Italian Serie A, Cagliari lost to Como. And for some Ghanaian interest on the part of Cagliari, there's a chap who plays for them. His name is Ibrahim Sulemana, also 22 years old. He's a central midfielder. He played today 90 minutes, full action. Atalanta will be in action against Udinese. On the side of Atalanta, Kamaldeen Sulemana plays for them. He assisted in their last game in the Coppa Italia. And then Juventus up against Pisa. And then for the French Ligue 1, there is Nantes up against Angers. AG Auxerre will take on Strasbourg. And then Toulouse up against Olympique Marseille. And well, let's talk some Ghanaian football. Yeah, I mean, it's Ghanaian players performing for their clubs across the world, not just in Europe. So you can have some players playing in Cambodia, Azerbaijan.
Don't do that.
Oh man,
It's a league.
It's a league.
It's a league.
Yes, that's what I said. Not just in Europe. So like,
Yeah, they always say like Cambodia, so I don't think you were being.
no. I'm
disparaging.
only just educated.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm only just educated.
There's related interest in the league later on, so we'll get to that.
Okay. I don't know where you guys want to start from. Let me start off with you, Patrick. Of course, one player is on everybody's lips in the last, let me say, since the turn of the year in 2026. Antoine Semenyo. Blistering start to life at Manchester City. Just quick thoughts. Did you see him starting this way? I think he has 7 goals, 2 assists for City in all competitions, right? Did you see him starting this way under Pep? And what are you expecting from him when the World Cup kicks in?
Well,
he's definitely one of the players who will be named in the squad.
Yeah.
So we can also preempt or get into that squad that Otto will name with some of the players who are already performing?
You know, honestly, I mean, he's our best player out there in Europe. I don't know because we are Anglophone. We follow the English Premier League very well, so that is where I remember when I was young. These guys from Niger, they came to Ghana, and then they were mentioning Pele. Like anytime they see a Ghanaian play, then the name is they will call you Pele. So it was later I got to realize that they were watching Canal France.
Okay.
So those from the francophone countries.
Yeah.
So they were following the French league at the time. So they knew most of African players
in the French league.
The French league. So in Ghana, Nigeria, ours is the English Premier League. You get it. So clearly, when you look at Antoine Semenyo, he's our best player out there. And then for me, if you ask me whether I felt or thought that or envisaged that I was going to go to Man City and play very well, honestly, I would tell you no. Because of the crop of players he was going to meet. And then if you look at Pep Guardiola as a manager, I didn't believe or think that he was going to use Antoine Semenyo as he's doing now. But then the young man has been very incredible in terms of how he positions himself on the pitch. He's very good. His work rate is high. And so he's a typical English player. You get it. And then you know, the English players, they are very direct, and then that's what Antoine Semenyo gives you. The work rate is out there, and then positioning in terms of goal scoring, he's very good at that. So I am quite surprised. I mean, he find himself in a City team. If you look at the number of players in there, quality players, and then he just gets in and he's playing and he's giving the results. It's look, Haaland is not getting in the goals. If you look at Bernardo Silva. This season he's also not getting in the goals that much. Look at Phil Foden, he's also struggling in terms of goal scoring. And then this player they bought, and then he comes in, join a team, and he's adding the numbers. So it is very interesting when you are watching him from afar. I saw Antoine Semenyo here at Accra Sports Stadium in some of our World Cup games, and if you look at his performances with the Blasters, and then you just oppose that with what he's doing in England, you will say the difference is very huge. And then I feel it is because he's playing in a very nice environment under a very good coach, coupled with the crop of players he's playing with. I mean, he's been very, very fantastic watching him. Anytime Man City is playing, I want to watch, just because I want to see his involvement in Man City build-ups, and then the kind of goals he scores. It's just like Jack Grealish. You know, when Pep Guardiola was going for Antoine Semenyo, I just thought about Jack Grealish when he was so good.
But he's actually the direct opposite of Grealish, though.
I mean, not necessarily in terms of what Grealish does, but I think I get what he means in terms of how the type of player who doesn't necessarily fit in Guardiola's system, but Guardiola will twist him to fit within his system and take away his individuality.
Yeah. So I mean, he's good. I mean, look, I remember Ghana's game where was he against Niger. Antoine Semenyo was before the goal post, and then he didn't know whether to use the chest or head to score. You get it. Anytime I sit down and then I reminisce over that very game and I watch him play, I've been asking myself, what is the magic now? Because he seems to look like a player who is well informed now. And then I love the fact that he's playing so well. If you look at comparing him to Doku, and then he's playing ahead of him, and it makes it very interesting. I've heard when he was moving to Man City, I've listened to so many people within the game who were some way somehow not positive about that switch. They thought he should go to another team, but to be honest with you, he's done a very great job. You know, if you look at the English Premier League over the years, you take away Mohamed Salah, I mean, getting the goals. You remember this DJ Drogba, Benny McCarthy, and then now you look at how do you call it, Antoine Semenyo and his numbers. It's very interesting. If you remember Adebayo when he was with Arsenal, those were the names you hear week on week. You get it. Now it is all about Antoine Semenyo, and then that is where my surprise is, and I'm only hoping that he'll keep up this very fine form, the goal scoring form. He's not that player that is very creative. He's a very direct player. So I'm just looking up to how he will fuse this ability with what we have within the national team, because that is where the difficulty is. You watch him play, he's very good in Europe. He comes to Ghana, the numbers aren't coming, and so you have
He has 3 goals in 32 appearances for the Black Stars.
You know, it is not encouraging. So somebody will say,
if you want to make it more very annoying, 3 goals in 4 years for the Black Stars.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we need to at least start having a conversation about whether he's at the level now where people will be annoyed at this. But can we build the Black Stars team around Antoine Semenyo? I know that seems very reactionary based on what has happened this season.
Based on the form he's given us this season.
Yeah, and I think at the start of the season, most people would have agreed that that's probably kudos.
You know what I have realized about him, right? Ever since he moved to City, 2 things is that, and that one of the 2 things is that coach mentioned it here, his shooting power and accuracy, and then his awareness inside the box.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if you guys have paid attention.
I think
it's improved massively. When he was at Bournemouth, when he shoots with his left,
boom. I know, yeah.
if the ball doesn't end up in the net, it goes off. But now when he moved to City now, when he's in the box, he's very more relaxed.
Yeah, like it's the same power, but
and
the
it's
power is going
purposeful. You get it. The power is still there, but it is more direct and it is more way more better than what he was doing at
the power would go with the direction upwards, but I think now he can find a way to place the ball.
Because that last goal he scored
power
with the left foot, making himself, Charlie, that's a very difficult technique to do.
Yeah.
Bro, like if you don't take it, you can even get your thighs injured.
Yeah, you can pull a
that's a really
like
difficult
that.
technique. So I think the personnel around him at City has helped him improve in a way, because you've got quality players around you. Look at the players he plays with week in, week out. Mamouche, Haaland, Bernardo Silva, Sheki. Charlie, you for lift your game, then match up. Then he comes to the Black Stars. Okay.
Kudus, Iñaki, like Fantao, like these are quality players.
They are quality players,
Yeah,
but there's
and
somebody who has to do a certain job as to play which player where.
You know, but I mean, and that's the thing. Tactically, Guardiola has also made certain like adjustments to ensure that he can get the best out of Semenyo, and that's where I think that's why I'm asking the question of Otoado, whether we're at the point where we need to realize that he's at the level where he can be differential on his own. There are times where there are 2 things that can sometimes win you a game. Either the tactics, I think that's a goal for Levante.
Okay.
Against Girona.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've taken the lead, but like sometimes the game, sometimes the tactics that win you the game, and sometimes the individual players within the system that are able to win the game for you. And I think Semenyo is at the level now that our coach hasn't shown enough. He hasn't shown enough of a system to show that this system can win games for us. If that makes sense. Not to say we don't need to play a system. So
now we need to present the heat map of Semenyo at Bournemouth and City to Otto.
Yes, and other players and other.
Why can't he see?
No, he can't see. He can see. He can't see. So you have to,
and other players.
Because even before he moved to City, and he was performing at Bournemouth, when he comes to the Black Stars, Otto will play him as a 9.
And it's just about getting these players in their best position.
So we'll present it to him.
The position that he have the most effect from, and just try to constantly get them in those positions.
I mean, in recent games, he's been playing Semenyo
in the World Cup qualifiers.
On the left side.
Yeah, I agree to that.
On the left side of a front 3, which is where he plays at. He used to play at AFC Bournemouth consistently. At Man City, he switches. Sometimes he's on the left, sometimes he's on the right. But for the most part, he's on the left.
Can we do that at the Black Stars?
Just to remind me,
can we let him do that?
How often did the qualified did Otto play 3 at the back, or he was constantly going with 4?
I think it was just top of my head. I can recall 2. One against Mali in Bamako.
Okay. Okay.
And then the one we beat them 2-1.
I mean,
and then the one
Comoros
at the Accra
Sports Stadium.
Yeah, that one he wanted to be very, very, very compact at the back.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the forward line, I think
those were the 2 games. The rest of the qualifiers, he went with the back 4.
So for me, it's not about the players that surround
our last game,
against Comoros.
Yeah, against Comoros.
I think it's because, like Kwachi said, the quality of the players, the drop off is not sharp between Man City and the Black Stars. The drop off is not sharp. It's just marginal because there are quality players across board when it comes to the Black Stars, particularly in midfield and in the front line. Defensive wise, yes, there are questions, particularly in the lateral areas. But when it comes to the midfield, particularly in the offensive part of the midfield and the forward line, talent-wise, the drop-off is very marginal.
Okay.
It's all about fitting into a system, creating a system, and getting them to fit into that system and making sure that everyone plays their role. That is the whole point. Because when you look at Manchester City play and you see Semenyo play at Man City, it's fluid. The build-up is fluid. But in our case, the build-up is not fluid because there's always an extra touch or two.
Okay.
Either from Kudus or from Jordan. Are you? And once you take 1-2 touches, the window closes.
Yeah.
For you to be able to deliver a defense splitting pass, for you to create an opportunity and potentially score. So in that sense, your timing needs to be on point and your delivery needs to be on point. In cases where we've decided or Otuado has decided that Ghana will sit deep and the midfield play because Thomas Partey isn't present and the ones that we have, his replacements aren't necessarily ball jugglers, and so we need to do it. Okay, the long transition, hit or build that play deep from deep and hit it long. The quality of the passes do not fit the standard. They do not find their target. So in that sense, you're also depriving Antoine Semenyo of quality service because you can play the intricate style of game, but make it quick and snappy, make it fluid. That one you help him. You do not just help him, you help Iñaki Williams too. You help Jose Pinto too. These guys, Brandon Thomas Asante, they are speedy.
Yeah.
So once the build-up is fluid and quick,
it helps.
It helps them because the spaces will open up quickly, and before it closes, the ball has already been laid off, and they are making runs either on the ball or with the ball or off the ball. And off the ball, Ghana is terrible. Ghana has been very terrible because there isn't that trust that once a ball is released to this player, X player, Y player, the ball will be laid on. So if I'm making a run, no one is even giving me the ball. How many times have we not seen Iñaki Williams make a run and no one gives him the pass?
And then he gets frustrated.
How many times have we not seen Antoine Semenyo make a run and no one gives him the pass?
Kudus is turning and...
Yeah, Jordan is also turning and trying to win free kicks.
Yeah, you see...
I don't have a problem with it.
On this point, right, because of time, on this point, I quickly want to ask you, if you have all our players fit, so the kind of football you want us to play, just at the front line, with who do you think should be the best number 9? Because in my head, I'm having Semenyo on the left and Pencil on the right, and telling them that they shouldn't stick there.
Oh yeah, be fluid. Move
should
across.
Be fluid, but the headache has to be with who is then number 9. Iñaki, Jordan.
Drop Jordan to the bench. Let Iñaki lead. Me, I've always said this. Because at the end of the day, your front line, you need a situation where...
That's why I'm asking that, because Jordan will slow things down.
That's why.
If you are hitting... Let's say we are playing against England. England sees a large share of possession.
And you hit it long.
So what it means on our side is that all our moves will be counter-attacking moves.
Yeah, I mean, but then you'd have to argue that he can also hold up play.
Well, it depends. And then it depends on...
So then that's different. So then he holds up play and then we try and build into the game rather than constantly looking for an outlet to...
No, and my point is, if you go with that front three, you can hurt teams in multiple ways.
Yeah.
You can play the intricate passes like I was saying, provided that the attack is fluid and sharp. If teams decide to open up a little bit and play with maybe a high line, then you can hit it long because they find out that, okay, if you shackle Thomas Partey and you place 2 players on him, Ghana can play out from the back. And Kudus is a ball juggler, so let's focus on these 2 guys. Shut down Kudus, shut down Thomas Partey, and Ghana will have a problem progressing the ball. So in that sense, we'll push a lot of players upfield and deep into the half of Ghana. In that sense, you have to force it long. You have to hit it long. If you are hitting it long, which players do you want attacking the ball? Iñaki or Jordan? Which players do you want attacking the ball?
Okay.
Jordan or Brandon Thomas Asante? or Antoine Semenyo or Jordan Ayew.
I even forgot.
You get it?
Yeah, Thomas Asante is a good shout.
He's a very speedy guy. So in that sense, if I can hit you both ways, why wouldn't I go with the player that can help me in both ways, rather than go for a player who, even with the intricate passing, he doesn't help necessarily. Jordan doesn't help because
it's not, I mean, not intricate to an extreme. It's just the ability to hold the ball up and keep it for the next player.
And I mentioned the key word, fluid. Why are you holding the ball up? That's why he needs to come off the bench. Hold the ball up when we are in the lead and trying to defend the lead.
Okay.
In the tournament,
that's when you would bring.
That's when you bring in and you win those set pieces that just diffuse all the stress and the pressure and all that. Then you get some free kicks and potentially can score from those free kicks.
Well, speaking of
that sense, if you go with Jordan Ayew, you are hurting the overall play, and that's why I say with Semenyo at City, he looks so good, and Yankee Williams looks comfortable at Athletic Bilbao. Brandon Thomas Asante, the same thing.
Yeah.
But when they come to Ghana, they look lost because nothing is working. Either the attack isn't fluid, stop start, or the direct balls from deep aren't quality enough for them to run onto.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember just a few other candidates, you are dismissing entirely the Kwame Prepara argument. Looking at according to
Kwame Prepara plays in Cambodia.
According to transfer market, he has 20 goals in 20 games.
Yes.
What's the name of it?
No, it's a very long name. Give me a second. Let me get it for you.
He plays in
Cambodia.
Cambodia
he used to play for King Faisal.
Yeah.
Then he moved over to South Africa and played for Orlando Pirates.
I only remember him for the stints at South Africa. I didn't know he had moved to Cambodia.
He had a brilliant start to life in South Africa, and he emerged as I think he finished runner-up in best young player of the year. I think 2 seasons ago in South Africa.
So when did he move to Cambodia?
I mean, things fell apart, and so he moved to Cambodia. So Kwame Price in Cambodia now. He scored 20 goals.
How old is he now?
In 22 games. Now he plays for Priya Khan Rich Sve Ring FC.
This is unfair.
Well, relax. Let me see. It's 5-0. Priya Khan Rich Sve Ring
is
FC.
It Cambodia's top division?
Like Cambodia top division.
Top flight league.
Top flight. Yeah, he's in Cambodia.
And he has 20 what?
20 goals in 22 games.
Hey!
Kwame Prepara, he plays in Cambodia. Yeah, Cambodia.
No, the guy did on the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he's at top post.
Bagabi, have you realized that our two topmost the strikers?
Yeah, Jordan and then Jordan is chopping Benjo. Jordan is on the bench.
Jordan has 5 goals.
Yeah, 5 goals in 32 appearances this season. So 3 assists. 8 goal involvement.
Yeah.
Charlie,
a penalty
or
two in there, but
penalty or 2 in there. Iñaki, let's check Iñaki's stats and see.
But just to quickly finish the point I was making, the other options. I think if you remember the Kirin Cup, Thomas Asante wasn't as comfortable. I think in the second game against Korea, he had a few chances here and there where if he had been able to maybe, but then again, same thing happened to Manu. I think maybe if he had scored, he could have jump started his career, like his national team career, but that doesn't necessarily always work out. I like the way Prince Amwako Jr. I think when he he had a goal that he scored that was marginally offside. I think should have stood. Yeah, but we have very good
Mohamed Husseini,
there's this striker we called for the World Cup qualifiers. Prince Kwabena Owusu plays for
the really skilled I meant him, not Prince Amwako. Prince Kwabena Owusu.
Okay, he's the one
but there's also Prince Amwako Jr. He's a winger who plays for FC Northern. He's a very young. Yeah, and even Karabakh.
Yeah,
the Azerbaijan team that played in the UEFA Champions League. Yes, Emmanuel Adai.
So Azerbaijan, but no Cambodia. Just
no, but he played in the Champions League. He played in the Champions
Prince
League.
Kwabena do.
Yes.
Prince Kwabena. I think we called him for the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think it was the Kirin Cup that we played. The one that
the Kirin Cup. The one who stood out for me the most was Mohamed Husseini, who's a Union Saint-Germain.
Yeah.
And so many players out there, and we are still talking about the DIU and all these.
Yeah, it's just about and we have enough opportunities with the friendly games to give each of them a run, to give them a chance to see if they deserve to be included, especially if it's an expanded squad. So it's a matter of options and looking at the different options and not necessarily always dismissing the level at which they play at. But I think Prince Kobne, he plays with Victoria Pilsen.
Some levels you can dismiss it. Cambodia, you can dismiss it. Victoria Pilsen, I mean, as in what? The Czech Republic.
Yeah, 22 years old.
Yeah, so it's fine.
So former Bechem United striker. Yeah,
so it's fine. But Cambodia, no. I mean,
and you see, Jordan is above 30 years.
Yeah, he's 32 now.
And then Inaki Williams.
Inaki is 30. He's also 30.
He's 30. You know, these guys will not help us, to be honest with you.
Oh, Inaki too.
Oh, they will not. But we've seen him in Ghana. We've seen him play for us severally.
Inaki is also going to a lot of the players.
I think he also struggles with playing on the Ghana pitch.
Yeah. No, we went to the Qatar World Cup with him.
That was his first introduction. I mean, beyond Kudus against South Korea, no one did well in Qatar. So
yes,
but
so
for me, Inaki, Qatar. If you mention Qatar, is the umpire.
Yeah.
Charlie. Well, let's see. Fatah Isaku is starting today. For Leicester City.
Yeah, statistically, imagine we hit the ball long. Isaku has the speed to run onto the ball and make something out of it.
Part of his game has also improved.
If our coach was more tactically flexible, I really think there's a case for having either Semenyo through the middle or having
Jordan is 34.
Yeah, having a front through line of Kudus and Semenyo, whereas rather than going middle, they both go out wide, and then you have a central figure who is who can also come in, maybe like Iñaki or Kudus. I mean, or someone who can, or like Fatah, who can then operate from a deeper in the 10 position. But I don't think our coaches are tactically flexible. So
did you just say that?
Yeah, but
that's true. But I really think there's an argument for having Semenyo and how well he plays across all three front lines. There's a point in having him starting up front, but not necessarily having him real test for
as a striker. Like, if you look at our players and the options you can actually get from these players.
Not really, bro. That's why the Panama game is it. After Panama, if he's going to be having to play defensive football against both England and Croatia, and it's a matter of taking your chances and advancing.
Not necessarily against Croatia. I mean, Croatia, we will be on the front foot because they do not have the players that they used to have, who are technically ball jugglers that can control the pace of the game.
We should match them.
We should match them. We should even be.
Don't you think it's dependent on the results you get? It's dependent on the results you get against Panama. So let's say we go and we beat Panama 2-1.
And that's the point I'm making. Yeah, it's very dependent on how we play against Panama, whether we're going to be then chasing in the next game.
And they will also,
or we have
the way they also approach us will also be dependent on how they
also
play in their first game. Yeah. Probably they can come all gun blazing against us. Maybe they win their first game and they are okay with that result. They can sit deep and then we are rather attacking them.
So for me, like I've said, it has to be either a 4-3-3 or not a 4-3-3. A 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-3 formation. Okay. Because, for instance, Antoine Semenyo, if you have Antoine Semenyo playing as one of the two more or less inside forwards in a 3-4-2-1 formation, so the two guys who tuck in a little bit behind the main striker, they are not necessarily wingers, but they can split out wide and operate as wingers. In that sense, Antoine Semenyo is perfect because though he lines up as a winger for Manchester City, he's always drifting inside, and it is the fullbacks who occupy the wing position. Yeah. So in that sense, he fits. And if you play him in a straightforward 3-man front line and line him up on either side of the wing, he fits in the sense that his speed can stretch the defense. Okay. And on top of that, he is versatile enough to be able to play across the front three in a fluid formation where they are able to switch positions without necessarily affecting the structure of the team formation, and also affecting the team's ability to play. So in that sense, yeah, you have to play either with a 3-4-2-1 formation or a 3-4-3. Okay. Knowing very well that Kudus can play in behind those guys and also supply the balls. Ishahaku, have him come off the bench, and he needs to be spoken with. And that one is down to coaching. Play your role. You are a winger. Once you cut into the infield, your first instinct isn't to shoot. Your first instinct is to cross the ball and try to find Iñaki Williams in the box, who is very good with his head anyway. Once you cut infield, don't be shooting. Okay. you cut infield and you shoot
But
2 times and you miss.
if
I'm
he cuts
putting you
in-
on the bench.
But if he cuts in and there's space for him
Space
to
for
attack, he can shoot.
On his
No.
junction too. Why,
Yes.
why should he?
And
go?
then based on what we see him do at Leicester City,
At
I
Leicester
think in
City,
positions where
fantastic. But at Leicester City, he's not playing with the likes of Iñaki Williams, so he's afforded the chance to do so because they are not scoring anyway.
so you're
But
saying that he should also look at the other option, the
when
second
you
option.
come to the Black Stars and you are playing at the World Cup, be mindful. Be mindful. I'm not saying that kill it out of your game, but what I'm saying is that be mindful. Once you cut infield, try to swing in the cross because you'll be cutting infield onto your favorite foot.
Yeah.
You can deliver a proper top level cross in swinging, which is very difficult to defend. And to the extent that even if the striker doesn't get his head to the ball or foot to the ball, it can go into the net
Yeah.
because it can
Ricochets or somebody
it can
an own
confuse the
goal.
goalkeeper.
Yeah, okay,
So
right.
why in the world would you always be attempting shot after shot after shot once you cut infield? So in that sense, he should try to look out for his teammates a little bit more than he has done in previous attempts.
Okay. Phone lines activated 0549969996 0549986996. Call us, share your thoughts with us. If you spotted any Ghanaian player playing anywhere,
Not anywhere. Where he plays is important. Well, Cambodia. Like,
well, Kwachis I shouldn't do only Europe because if I do that, I'm limited.
oh, okay,
Why
fine.
didn't
So
why didn't you
maybe,
mention Ghana Premier League?
so,
and
so
five
maybe
now?
MLS.
So anyway,
Yeah, so maybe MLS.
so we can have a Ghanaian player performing very good in Kazakhstan.
Okay, Kazakhstan.
Oh, that's like now.
Kazakhstan, does he play in the Champions League? No.
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, no, for instance,
Azerbaijan, they have Karabakh.
yes, for instance, this chap, the guy who used to Choco, who hailed from Choco and he played
Plays
for
for
the Black
Kazakh-
Stars. He used to play for Slovakia, one of the teams.
I'm trying to
the
get
team
it.
that beat Real Madrid.
Recently,
Yeah, a couple of seasons ago in the Champions League.
Edmondo. He was a midfielder.
I think it was Edmondado.
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, he's the one.
If you play for
Let me-
those
let
kind
me
of
cross
teams,
check, okay.
Belarus, in those leagues like Belarus,
He's the one,
Slovakia,
Edmondado, yeah.
at least your team should be competing in the Europa League.
Okay.
Your team should compete in the Europa League or the Champions League.
Mhm.
Then I'll know that okay, your league that you compete in is not top level.
Sheriff Tiraspol at the time.
Yes, Sheriff Tiraspol.
Yeah.
Yes, those kind of teams. Moldova, Sheriff Tiraspol, I think was Moldova.
yeah.
Thank you. In that sense, you should be
That one, yeah,
competing at the Champions League. No, I'll consider you if you are playing in that league. I'll consider you.
No, but you'll be unfair.
No,
You're
but
looking at
wait,
little unfair.
But if you are playing in that
standard
league,
is on the
Uh-huh.
floor, but Cambodia can get in
no,
regardless. It's
but
very-
see,
I know.
Moldova,
Okay, so are you saying that?
Moldova league, Moldova league is not the best.
Mhm.
But if you are playing in the Moldova league and your team is playing in Europe, competing in the Europa League
Mm-hmm.
or the Champions League, like Sheriff Tiraspol,
Okay.
I'll give you a pass.
Oh, okay.
But if you are not competing in any of these European competitions, Moldova, like I'll take a Ghana Premier League player. Moldova League,
Okay.
I'll take a Ghana Premier League player.
Let me announce the phone lines again. Interesting conversation. 0549 96996 0549986996. So 0539986996. You can call us, share your thoughts with us. We're discussing the possible players to make it to the Black Star squad ahead of 2026 World Cup. Whilst you're waiting for you to call, guys, I think we have a genuine, very glaring concern with our fullbacks. In the last couple of weeks, I've seen people bringing out the Babaraman conversation as the left back position. Okay, I think we have our first caller. Hi, any more you calling us from? Hello. Okay, the caller could not wait. 0549 96996 0539 986 996 0549 986 996 0539 96 996. Please call us and let's get talking. The laterals, Babaraman, Gideon Mensah, Derek Arthurcorn. These are possible players that could get. Hi, your name, where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm Kerry from Ajisu.
Your name is?
Kerry.
Caleb.
Yep.
From where? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Can you power up your voice for me, please?
Alright, sorry. I think your guys have done justice to the topic being discussed. And I think they should be called to help the Terenka team. I think they understand the players better than the Terenka team, including our main coach. Yes. They have to be called and then help the Terenka team. I think they will do best at the World Cup than the Terenka team now. They understand our players. In fact, I'm excited listening to the conversation. Keep up.
All right, Caleb, thank you so much. 0549. Yeah, is that you? Yeah, and Patrick and Kwache. Is that you guys should take up some role in the national?
But I said it.
So
for $62,000.
That's management committee.
Yeah,
level.
I can help them.
I can definitely help them. But they don't like my choices though. But me, I can.
You
help
mean you
them.
guys will not be on the same wavelength?
Oh, they don't like my choices
Okay.
because at the end of the day, we need to attack it with brutal efficiency.
All right, hi, and where are you calling us from?
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm El Capitano, driving and listening to you.
Ibiso El Capitano, thank you for reaching out to us. Talk to us.
Yeah, you guys are making justice to the program, but you guys will slow down for Jordan. Give me small. I beg you. Well, I slow down for Jordan for me small.
We for slow down.
When it comes about Jordan and you, well,
Yeah.
slow down for. Slow down for.
Okay.
I beg you. Then when it comes to our defense, I think if Baba our man is being added to the team, I think it should be okay. Because I think this guy Gideon Mensah they feel too comfortable. You know they get competition, so they do whatever they like. You get me? Our defense, our central, then the right wing, I think they good. The Blasters they can do well. But also for look sharp. If I prove in critics wrong, yeah, in tactics. Me, I know they want to talk later, man. If I look in tactics in critics wrong. Best wishes to the United family. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you so much. 054996 996 053 9986 996. Call us, let's get talking. The Republic of Football 97.3. I'm Gabriel Fe here with Yao Ejeminta, Manuel Angelo Kwache, and Patrick Bonnie helping me to do the discussion. 054996 996. Hi, your name, where are you calling us from?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, talk to me. Your name, please.
My name is Kwekusechi, Dantuman.
Kwekusechi. Talk to me. The Black Stars players caught your attention, caught your eye. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I think we have a good team overall, and I think that Semenyo and Kudus are going to, especially Semenyo, I think is very consistent, and he's going to, do some magic for us. But this whole World Cup thing, I think it won't come on. And politically, what is going on in Iran and all that, I don't see it coming on. I think Iran is the first team that qualifies for the World Cup. They are going to boycott it anyway. A lot of countries, I'm seeing that Spain and other countries are likely to also boycott the World Cup. So this year's World Cup might not come on. Think about it.
Really? Okay. Thank you. 054996 996 0539 986 996. Call us, let's get talking. The Republic of Football 97.3 City FM. I'm Gabriel Fair here with Patrick Bonnie, Manuel Angelo Kwache, and also Yao J. Menta. Hi, and where are you calling us from?
Hello, good evening. Please, I'm Shaibu and I'm calling from Kaswa.
Shaibu, how are you doing?
I'm okay, and how are you guys?
I'm super good. Talk to me, Shaibu.
I think for the Black Stars, the only problem we have is the lateral defenders, the 2 and 3. If we are able to solve that, the Black Stars will be good. And the Black Stars, And about Jordan, so I think we should slow down on Jordan. And I hope my team wins today too, Chelsea. And shout out to my good friend Yao.
Okay. All right, Shaibu. Next time when you call, please turn down the volume of your radio set for me. Okay.
Okay.
All right. God bless you. Thank you so much. 0549 96996 053 9986 996. Daniels, you have a caller? Okay, nope. 054 996 996. Guys, let's quickly talk about the laterals. Patrick, let me start off with you. Just quick word. If a caller comes in, then I switch to. So, over the week, we've seen. Okay, I think we have a caller. You can still think about it, though. We don't? We do? Okay. Patrick, talk to me. So, the laterals. On the left, there is Gideon Mensah, Derek Arthur-Con, and also Barbara Man. It's possible players to get into the squad. Hi, and where are you calling us from?
I am, please, my name is Eric. I'm calling from Temakom Tifan.
Eric, talk to me.
Hello, Shining Badawan. How are you doing? Charlie, the league now. I know if you trust my team, still. Charlie, be tough.
Wait, do you need support?
Man City.
Oh, okay.
But I hope that Semenyo can win the league for us. And I hope the Blasters too can go far in the World Cup. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. 0549986 996 053 986 996. Okay. Hi, you know where you're calling us from?
Oh, Good Citizen, calling from Tama.
Your name is?
Good Citizen.
Good Citizen.
Yeah.
Please talk to me.
Okay. Am I talking to City?
Yes, you're live on City 97.3.
I'm not hearing myself on radio.
You know, you can't listen to yourself, please. Just you're live on radio.
Okay. For our team, I think there are some few changes you need to make, especially the defense. Hello.
I'm listening.
Yeah. Most especially this guy, Jonas Ajiti. I'm not too comfortable with the guy.
Okay.
And the guy is very jittery. He's not confident enough when you see him play. And also, to me, Kwesi Sibo, the guy that you've been hyping too much. Like when you watch him play, the guy is not that type of guy who will give you that good passes. He's fine. He's good with tackling. But most of the times when he's done with the tackling and recovering the ball, the next moment he dash out the pass to the opponent. If you watch several of their matches here of radio, you see it several times. So sometimes when I watch our games and I see you guys or people praising him, I don't know where the praise is coming from, because after you recovering the ball, like what kind of pass do you give? He's not a good passer of the ball. So I think we should find a better opponent or a better defensive midfielder in that regard. And also Jordan Ayew, I don't think he's going to help our team enough. The guy is always concentrating on falling down, getting a foul, and all those kind of things. I think those things don't help in modern football.
All right. Thank you so much.
He's a little bit aggressive and then good with the ball. And he's always contributing up front.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. 054996996 054996996. Hi, and where are you calling us from?
Hello.
Yes, talk to me.
My name is Ohino Kwame from Majingano. I want to talk about the goalkeeping department, and I think Benjamin Nesere is not really good enough to be our number one for now. And talking about our defensive midfield, I don't think Kwesi Sibu can help us, because he's not that good. Like when we talk of midfielders like Antoniana and them, this guy don't come near these people. I don't think he's really good. So then I think the guy saying that what do you call it, Italian that is Suleiman or something. I think he is a very good player. We have watched him play for his new team. I think he's up there. So then, and the left back too, I think they should call Babaraman. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. 054996 996. We'll take our final 2 callers, and it's a wrap. Hi, where are you calling us from?
Hi, my name is Kasim.
Your name is?
Kasim.
Please talk to me.
All right, so I have 2 issues to talk about.
Please go ahead.
So, as well, I see some journalists trying to advocate for Dede Ayo. I don't think he should even get near to the space is due, so I think that is okay. Then, on our goalkeeper side, I don't know whether Benjamin Asare is capable of keeping our goals for us in the World Cup. So I think we should find out for like a very good goalkeeper rather than Benjamin Asare. Sometimes when you watch him keep, I don't think he can do it for us.
So who would be your preferred goalkeeper?
For now, I don't think we even have a goalkeeper. We should just keep on searching. If not, I don't know. I just don't know.
All right, thank you so much. 054996 996 0549 986 996. We'll take our final caller, and then I'll get quick thoughts from the guys. We'll take the show home. We'll be back here tomorrow for the Sunday edition of the Republic of Football, starting from 2 p.m. all the way to 5:36. Yeah. Hi, anyone you calling us from?
Hi, I'm calling from Weja.
Ima, please talk to me.
I want to contribute.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thinking about our midfield. Yeah, we have 2 holding midfielders, Pate and then Sibo. We want the ball progressor. So I'm thinking about Dan Kofice and who and what we call it, Majid Ashmero, to get them to progress the ball. So Kudus will be at the right, and then what we call it, Samuel will be on the left, and then on the attack. That's how we should organize our team.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts. That's it with the callers. Patrick, just quick thoughts on the left back situation, and then we can. Interesting thoughts, though.
Gabby, before I talk about the left, I don't know why they are talking about, how do you call it, Benjamin Asare. You get it? I just don't get it, because if this the goalkeeper you have, and then you look at the numbers, you get it, and then the person is doing so well in the domestic league, and then people are calling out his name not to be. I mean, he shouldn't be the man in post. I keep on asking myself.
Yeah, that's why I asked the caller that who would be his.
And it was very difficult for him to even mention one name. You get it? We gave Artizigi all the time he needs. We took him to, how do we call it, the Qatar World Cup, and then he came back, and then he's still not being a man for us. So what else do you want? Is it because we feel the domestic league is not all that good?
And you get like that, and that's the thing that worries me. Like, it means that no matter what, they can never, as long as you're in the Ghana Premier League, it means you are to your quality.
You have to move out before you can get into the national.
No, it means that the quality isn't there. Like, you can't be at a certain quality or level and then play in the Ghana Premier League, and I think that's slightly unfair.
Yeah. So I mean, we have to think about this whole thing and then see how best we can position ourselves. We went to 2006 World Cup where we had
4 local players.
We have Habib Mohamed and those guys, and then they played very well. Yeah. Somebody will tell you that the level of football those guys exhibited is not what we see in the Ghana Premier League, but sometimes it is the opportunity. Most of these guys, when you give them the nod, trust you me, they will give you the result because it is the World Cup.
Yeah, and football is context. Like, you can get players just by playing with better players. You can look better by playing a different role in a different team. And that's where something I feel like we treat unfairly the Ghana Premier League players just because they play in the Ghana Premier League.
You see, the crop of players that we have, and I am looking at it from the coaching perspective. Because, look, if you have a very good coach, the coach will turn around the boys and use them very well. I saw the Blasters at 2010 World Cup. I saw how they played. And then even Kwesi Appiah, when he took us to Brazil, that first game, Ghana versus USA, if you watch that game closely, you see that if you have a very good coach who understands the game, the players can be positioned very well. You get it? So the problem we seem to be having around the national team is about the man leading the team.
Yeah.
And so we need to be focused on that. The FA or the technical team, they need to. I'm happy they've beefed up, the technical team, where you see great minds will be at work. So I'm just expecting them to go out there and then give us the right players. For Gideon Mensah, he's been given the opportunity every now and then, and he's playing. And then I think he's not getting that competition. So anytime you watch him play, very slow sometimes. And I think if people are calling, mentioning Baba Rahman's name to come over, I think are we planning for the future, or we want to go back? That's the question that I'll ask. Because in every tournament, you need players that will come in, that you leverage on them after the tournament to build your team. So are we going to invite Baba Rahman into the national team, and then right after the World Cup, are we going to use him? Is he going to be there for the next 5 years? So those are the things we need to look and then and see how we can position our boys. The domestic league, we have to just look into the league, get 1 or 2 boys to complement the boys. Somebody spoke about Razak Simpson. Yeah. And for me, I've been watching the Ghana Premier League, and yesterday even they won by 2 goals. Yeah. He played.
I watched that game too.
You saw how he played against
Victoria United.
You get it. The guy is good. The national, when he went, they invited him into the national team. We saw his level of confidence after those games that he played. So there's a need for us to focus on sometimes these boys and then give them the opportunity to play, and then not to be looking into Europe, where some of these boys, because of the environment they are playing, we think they are all that good. Yeah. You get it? So they come down here, Monday starts, we meet them, and then you look at the quality. It's just about the serene, where they are coming from. That is the difference. So we should leverage on the World Cup, use some of these local boys. We have people combing the Ghana Premier League. So they should be able to tell us that if you go to Samatex, you need to have a good player there. If you come to Hazovo, look at the centre back issue you are talking about, Kevin Osesibe. Yeah. For Hazovo, if that guy is well groomed, you get it, one game with the national team, friendly game or something like that, you'll be better than some of the boys that we are going to be bringing from Europe to come and play. You get it? So for me, I think that the national team and the players that we still have a lot of work to do on them, and it's all boils down to the fact that we need a technical director, a coach that will be very resolute, who will tell us that this is what I want from you. If you don't give me, you'll not be part of my team.
Okay. Pachi, just quick thoughts on the laterals, and then we'll pick it from there.
Yeah, I think that we are doing the best with what we have so far, and with all these things, like you said, it's just a matter of opportunity. If the players that we have are not working for us, maybe we try different players. It seems like the combination of Gideon Mensah and Alidu Siedu has a lot of people quite worried, and understandably, given some of the performances that they put up during the qualifying campaign. So if we're able to use this opportunity to give different players an opportunity, that would be fine. But I don't necessarily think that in terms of our team, it's make or break necessarily dependent on the laterals. It also needs to reflect how they are also able to attack is also important. I think defensively it's important, but I think how they're also able to attack is important. And again, it comes to shifting. But do you think Otuado can maybe play with the midfielder at fullback, or like just different things, try different options? I think that would maybe be a bit too soon. I think you can just go with tried and tested, and then if the games that are coming up, I keep saying, are the most important things. You've confirmed we're 4 friendlies now against teams of different levels, of different quality. If you have something you want to try, I think we have the best opportunity to go ahead and see what we're going to do. The AFCON not being there will always will always be a factor. But now that we've moved past the AFCON, maybe if we had been at the AFCON by now, we would already be more certain what our best team was. If we hadn't been knocked out at the group stage again, hopefully. But if we had progressed to the AFCON, we would have been able to play enough games to have some continuity in the team. And that's why I just think that for now the best thing is to go with what we've tried and tested, and to in between and in the games that are coming, we should try and use those games as a test for other options that we have. And by the end of it, I think we should be more settled on the team that we want to play.
Okay. Yeah, you had a final say.
Oh yes, we are run out of time. Actually, we're over our time limit, so we're out of time. So let me make it quick. I think what we need to do, considering the level of play of our regular fullbacks and the fact that the substitutes haven't necessarily been tested, like Derek Atakon.
Yeah.
And the timing is very close to the
He's
World
yet
Cup.
to play
Right? For the Black Stars. I don't think we should be experimenting too much, especially in those key areas. In the wing positions upfield, we can experiment. But in defense, we cannot afford to be experimenting now. So what I do propose is a little bit radical. Considering the overload and over-bloated level of talent that we have in the wing positions, and the versatility some of our wingers have shown, a guy like Fatawu Ishaku should be played as a wing back. Considering we'll be it's best we use a back three. Fatawu Ishaku should be played as a wing back. Has he got the legs
to be running down that lane?
But he's played that position before. He played it at Sporting Lisbon.
No, but at that time he was not dealing with all of these.
And defensively, he'll be dealing with much like players of a higher quality.
Exactly, but he has the speed and the bullish attitude to be able to deal with them. And on top of that, he has a skill.
I play Kamaldeen on
I'm just concerned about Fatawu Ishaku.
I'm just concerned about the.
No, he can't play that position.
I'm just concerned about the load of work he has to do on that channel, because running in and then
wing back, I think it will suit him brilliantly.
Okay. If he goes to meet some top notch.
Oh, and on top of that, you look at the right side. You look at the right side. Joseph Paintel has played as a wing back before, and he's been used in that position for at LA Galaxy. And even before he moved to LA Galaxy, the previous clubs he played in Europe, Ferencváros and co, they played him on multiple occasions in the wing back position. And so in that sense, why don't you go in for him? Because Gideon Mensah is who he is at this point in time. Even when he was playing consistently, he wasn't doing very well for the Black Stars. And now his position at Auxerre, he's not a starter. He's not a starter. He comes in and he goes. Sometimes 3 games, he'll be coming off the bench, and the 4th game, then he starts some games. Then that's pretty much it. So he's not consistent. Alidu Seidu, the same thing. These days, he's not a starter at Stade Rennes. You get it? So even when they were starting games and playing multiple games, we had issues. So now that they are coming off the bench and their minutes are staggered, what makes you think that, or what makes you confident that their level of play for the Black Stars will improve or get better? So for me, I think per the talent that we have, the Emmanuel Adais and co, they are all in the wing areas. We can play them in those wing areas. Kamaldeen and co, let them be part of the second unit. But because of the overload of talent that we have in those areas, and the fact that some of them have played that position before and have shown that they are quality enough to play that position before, a guy like Joseph Paintel should be used as a wing back. A guy like Fatawu Ishaku should be used as a left wing back. Then you play with your back three. You have Machid Ashimero and maybe Ibrahim Suleimana or Kwesi Sibo in the middle if Partey is not available. Then the front, you go with Iñaki Williams, Antoine Semenyo, and then Mohamed Kudus. Okay. You are sorted.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, I think that is the last option available to him, because we've spoken about not having the quality naturally in the positions. I think I agree with the feedback system. Maybe he can try a different attack-minded players in those positions. I think maybe if he plays 4-back, I think there's also an argument to maybe use an extra centre-back as a 4-back, rather than going for instance, like if he wants to be better defensively. I think there's an argument to maybe going for maybe an extra 4-back at one side and then just having one of them to be a natural 4-back who will then be going up and down the wings. So there are different options available to him. So I'm like we keep saying, we have we have the opportunity between now and when the World Cup comes. So
Mhm.
we'll see what works for the team.
Okay. All the best to Otuado. That's what you can say. For the Nigerians, I've spotted a goalkeeper for them. I think they can. Maduko Okoye. He plays for. He did this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Nigerians have issues with their goalkeeping.
I mean,
But
He could be- he
for
could
us,
be-
but
it's standing
for
with
us,
Billy.
we can also go in for Rome Jaden.
He's not coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he
Rome
likes that.
Jaden. Yeah, because at
He's
the end
not
of the day,
coming.
he's a starting goalkeeper for the
But do you
for a
think
club
he's-
in the Dutch league.
He would come.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think you.
He will come because at the end of the unless he doesn't want to play international football, because that Dutch national team, he's not getting
He's not
anywhere
getting
close
that.
to the national
Maybe he
team.
would prefer being the reserve goalkeeper than being.
No,
our-
he's not getting a call up. I don't see him getting a
Really?
Rome Jaden.
Okay.
I don't see him getting a call up.
How old is he now?
Oh, he's like 23.
He's quite young. I think there's still time. The Japan boy too, but I think he's already started representing Japan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Suzuki.
Yes,
Oh
so-
yeah, he plays for Parma and he's already represented Japan multiple occasions. So he's gone.
Okay. That's the word on the Black Stars players repping their teams. The performances ahead of the 2026 World Cup. So the guys doing justice to the players, helping Coach Otuado. I mean, with the scouting work, we're doing it here in the radio. Yeah. Let me do this message from Patrick. You want to do it, or I should do it for you? So Frank Bala, is it Bala?
Yeah.
And Benjamin Amantik, aka Kabila of West Legon, currently doing the listening. And today is Isaac Arthur's birthday. He's also listening to the show. Okay.
Yeah. Big shout
So
to
hi, guys.
Ivan Alfonso Ansa. Yeah,
Okay.
Ivan Alfonso Ansa, big Liverpool fan. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you enjoyed that win over Wolves last night in the FA Cup. Yeah, Ivan
The
Alfonso
revenge
Ansa.
win.
Yeah, big man.
Revenge win.
Yeah,
Big
after
man,
they
big
scored.
man, big man, big
After they
man.
scored us in the
Ivan, I salute.
the Premier
Okay.
League.
So happy birthday to Isaac Arthur. This is from Patrick Hugh, right? Or it's from the guys?
Yeah, the guys.
From Patrick Bonny, who is here with us, wishing a very big birthday and growing to do big things. Kwachi, have some shout?
I mean, no, unexpected. No, just just shout to all the people listening. The messages and the support is what makes the show exciting. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Speaking of the messages, let me take some one or two from YouTube before before we check out to the studio. On YouTube, if I don't know it, the guys Charlie they will slaughter we. It says I think the guy who said SM, you mean Benjamin Asari? Okay. It's not good enough as a Richard Ofori fun. Okay. There's a Ghanaian at Greenland. Charlie Seed come, he didn't misbehave. He said Cambodia League with a laughing emoji. Okay. Kudus is a ball hog and not a juggler. He holds onto the ball too long. The hold the ball up and release the ball for others for counter attacks. That's what Kwache is talking about. Okay. Semenyo can play whether in possession or counter. Okay, Semenyo should be our face. You mean heading into the World Cup? Ghana vs England. Otuado will be sweating in his kaftan. Sweet Kwame says Ghana players day everywhere. Guatemala and things. Yes, it's true though. And then he's also making fun of the guy who called to ask Shining Brother One, how are you doing? Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for sending your thoughts. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Thank you, Yao Jemin Tamanol, Angelo Kwache, and Patrick Bonny. Technical support from Daniel Squashi. I'm Gabi Affair. This has been the Republic of Football 97.3. Was live on City Sports Ghana. Dwayne Kwakofi, the man behind
the deadly striker.
Yeah, Jao Pedro.
Yeah, the deadly striker.
Jao Pedro, Edwin Kwakofi. I'm sure he'll be laughing. He's the man behind all the graphics you see on YouTube. If you've been watching on YouTube, he's the man doing all the magic for us. We're back same time tomorrow, 2 to 5 p.m. The Republic of Football on 97.3. Many thanks to our callers as well for calling and sharing your thoughts with us. I'm Gabby Affair. Enjoy the rest of our programs. You take care and bye-bye.